You didn't like school, and you know what it's for. So
So this is a thing that Martin had on his show a few years back, maybe like 4 years ago. I don't know. 4 years ago. And we showed it on our show because as soon as I saw it, he didn't say much about this when he had it on his show, but I knew right away that this was a melted building, you know, and this thing's got steps going up it. You can see it right here and up into here through here. It looks like this one back here has it as well. Steps going in it. Definitely this one back here has it. You can see steps going into it. Melted building. There's an arch right there. And these people are just like, they found it. And this thing in the background here kind of looks like a volcano right here. But it kind of also looks like a stupa or a step pyramid in a way. I'm just saying. But look at this thing here. What is this? Is that water right there? I don't know, but the steps go up even further. There's people up here. I mean, wow. It's in an etching, guys, from China. Just saying. Okay, so let's see. I got that one. And then we're going to look at, let's see, Catacombs of Paris. Was I going to do that one? That one, let me see here. Oh, yeah, I'm going to play this for you. This is interesting. All right, we're going to listen to this one. But I got to go back and put volume on with this. So let me see. I'm at 23 people here. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened to the last live stream. I was playing a free documentary. I dropped the link in the chat here. You guys can check it out. It was a free documentary, okay? So shouldn't have been any issues. And I clearly did not get a strike because if I had a strike, I would not be here talking to you. So there's that. So I don't know what happened. Really, I don't. I was still talking away, and I'm looking down at my phone. It says stream unavailable. That's why thank God I have my phone on, watching what's going on. I'd still be talking. What are you guys saying over here? I can't keep up with what you guys are talking about. I got to focus on my stuff. All right, let's check out this video. Let me get in the screen share. What a crazy night already, and I'm just getting started. All right, guys. Let me put the volume on here.
This out. The Americas is Grenada, Israel, the Promised Land. All of these are biblical place names in Utah, including Jerusalem. Utah's nickname is the Beehive State. There is a mountain in eastern Nevada named Mount Moriah, and it is over 12,000 feet high. In Utah, not only is there a River Jordan, but it runs out of a freshwater lake into the Great Salt Lake, which is remarkably like the Dead Sea. There is also a Mount Nebo in Utah, approximately 12,000 feet high. So yes, with evidence this strong, the real Judah was in Utah. People try to say that it was the Mormons that gave these places like Utah biblical names to support their position as Jews. However, this explanation fails miserably because there are no 12,000 feet high mountains in modern day Israel. Therefore, the real Judah or Israel had to be in Utah because it fits the description of the kingdom of Judah perfectly. The name Utah is derived from the name of the Ute tribe. It means the people of the mountains in the Ute language.
I just want to say real quick, on maps from over in Sodom and Gomorrah area around the Dead Sea, when we were covering that, Shapu and I, he had a map up and we were really zoomed in and looking at all the names and stuff on this map. And I found Utah and Montana over there. Just saying.
According to other sources, Utah is derived from the Apache name Yuda, which means tall. In the so-called Spanish language, it was said as Utah. Subsequently, the English-speaking people adapted the word Utah. There is no J in Hebrew, therefore Judah is Yuda, especially when you consider the fact that the J, check this out.
Isn't that crazy, guys?
The Americas is Grenada.
That was it. But I'll share that link with you if you guys want to check it out yourselves and look into the names and stuff. You know, you should always do your own research. Don't believe people you hear on YouTube. That's what I do. I do my own research, and I can vouch for this guy's information because I've already done the research. So there's that. All right, so let's go over here. We're going to check this out.
No, we can climb down into that. Oh, yeah.
It seemed pretty safe.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. There's like a little hole down here. It keeps going.
Hey, be careful. Do you see water yet?
No, it's dry. Keep going. No, there's a ladder. It leads into a dungeon.
Whose dungeon is this?
What is this pot? This is the creepiest thing ever.
Somebody lives here.
Somebody's been here recently.
Like today.
There's something very similar to this in Birmingham. You look at Birmingham Underground.
Wild.
We had showed it on one of my last two
I
channels.
don't know. There's like a kitchen area.
Go first.
So he gets me. Whoever's living back here.
Yeah.
We're inside a building, guys, a melting building.
Right? I could see that actually. We were walking
Watch
through
it
the
one more
woods, coming
time.
back from this cave we just went to. No, we can climb.
So it looks like an old well. You know, it's got the mechanism around it. It definitely fits the description of what you would consider to be an old well. Or Hayden, how many times have we seen these? I saw something like this up at Mount Cheeha as well, right at the edge of their parking lot. What are these things? And why is it leading to an underground, what looks to be melted building?
I'm down into that. Oh yeah.
It seemed pretty safe.
Yeah. It's pretty
I like
solid.
it.
There's like a little hole down here. It keeps going.
Hey, be careful. Do you see water yet?
No, it's dry. Keep going.
Funny mouth. That's Mandela.
There's a ladder. It leads into a dungeon.
With brick.
Whose dungeon is this?
What is this pot? This is the creepiest thing ever.
Obviously, the PCB pipe, you know, other stuff.
Somebody's been here recently.
Like today.
What? This is
I
wild.
mean, there's stairs there and everything. It's crazy.
I don't know. There's like a kitchen area.
Go first.
So he gets me. Whoever's living back here.
Yeah. Is it like a fallout shelter or something?
Right? I could see that actually.
So they think it might
We
be
were walking
fallout.
through the woods, coming back from
I don't know
this
what
cave
it is, but there it is, guys. I'll share that with you too. Okay. I have all my links, giving them all away tonight. Pretty crazy. Make of it what you will. There it is. There's that one. And then I have this one. I have another one over here. Maybe it's this one. Oh, yeah, this one here. Okay, let's check this out.
I don't think you're ready for what I'm about to present in this video. I really don't think you're ready for what I'm about to present in this video. And it all starts in the most unlikely of places. A place they want us to think is nothing but a third world wasteland. But in reality, it's a place fit for a king. Well, maybe not a king, but definitely an angel. 200, as a matter of fact, 200 fallen angels. And while they create propaganda like Borat to keep us from knowing who actually lives here and what this place actually is, I figured it out. I figured out that the top of their pyramid just happens to have a secret meeting chamber with exactly 200 perfectly aligned seats. 200 perfectly aligned seats that just perfectly matches the amount of fallen angels talked about in the book of Enoch. 200 that just almost perfectly matches the amount of impact craters that, I don't know, could have been caused from heavenly bodies crashing down to earth. Heavenly bodies whose leader just happens to also be called Lucifer, or the light bearer. The light bearer whose torch is often celebrated across all of the large cities of the world. and whose torch who is oddly placed next to a giant Easter egg. An Easter egg that might actually reveal why eggs are associated with Ishtar, because Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex. And maybe this city is also hiding the free energy
Yep, free energy. Look at that. It looks like a computer board, guys.
that they're using, because I've seen these exact buildings associated with the old dirigibles that used to charge from them. But we haven't even talked about the most interesting thing that I found in this city called Astana, which just happens to be an anagram for the word Satan. And it's just down the road from this pyramid. Or should I say, right down the river from this pyramid. And I'm going to take this time and say, all of this is pure speculation. Obviously, there could be other stories here, but too many of them line up to me. Way too many of them, especially when you see what I found here. And it's what I started this video with. You look at this and you tell me that doesn't look like some sort of portal. A portal that they might just be using to try to summon some real evil to this place we live. Or maybe even just a prop to propagate their fake summoning of the return of Jesus as a hologram. All I know is there's one thing I definitely know in all of this, is that this movie was created with intention to tell a vision of what this place actually is. Because I would put my money on it that 99% of you have never heard of the city in Kazakhstan called Astana. But you guys know I'm just kidding about all this. I don't really think 200 fallen angels are the actual controllers of this place we live. That's just silly. And I definitely don't think they build an egg in a light-bearing torch to worship anybody. Totally not. You guys know I just love to entertain you
Totally
and create
not.
these fairy tales and stories.
Anyway, there it is. I thought that was interesting. All right. So next I'm going to get into, let's see here. Let's get the history of plumbing. The first urban flushing toilet, 1596. It was called the John. Fast forward to 1596, about 500 years ago. Queen Elizabeth had the first flushing toilet. Just her. Maybe like one or two other people. That's it. So the name stuck though. They still call it the John. America's first citywide water system. Boston developed the first city water system in 1652. Early settlers came together and formed a corporation to build the conduit, a waterworks system for fighting fires as well as for domestic use. Most of the system vents pipes was made of hollowed out tree logs. And I think we covered that on the last show where they had tree logs. They hollowed out the center of them, put them all together, the wooden pipes and stuff. First water main. In France, the construction of the cast iron water main extended 15 miles from a plumbing station. It doesn't have a date here, though. Supplier of a nearby town, piping served palace gardens and fountains for 330 years. Are you kidding me? For 330 years. Like, you couldn't figure out toilets or nothing, or roads, but you could have fountains and lawns and gardens watered and everything, no problem. Doesn't make sense. First mechanical shower, that'd be the first thing I'd be inventing, a shower and a toilet. Fuck the fountains. Let's see here. So 1767, first mechanical shower. It doesn't mean that everybody had it. It just means it was the first. Let's see. Okay. It would take several years and major improvements, including the development of water heaters to provide a consistent flow of hot water inside the house before the shower became a standard household thing. And this was 1767. 1775 prototype for modern toilets, 1775. That was a prototype. Nearly 200 years after John Harrington invented the first flushing toilet, Scottish inventor. And another thing too is that with some of these inventions, it's like they all seem to have them at the same time across the plane. I mean, like with the pneumatic tube system. One guy invents it. Next thing you know, 6 other guys are inventing it too and putting it in all in these different cities across the plane and stuff. Okay, it says Cummins received the first patent for a very similar but improved device. Crucial additions. Let's see here. What else we got? 1778, the first flushing toilet. 1795, the first water system for firefighters. When New York City population outgrew its plumbing system, it devised a new network of hollow logs. This is before the metal pipes came in. In the modern era, you got 1815, the first water availability and safety measures. So they were starting to form that. 1819 to 1858, first cast iron pipe system in America. And it was in Philadelphia, guys, because they switched. Philadelphia switched from the wooden pipes to cast iron. That's 1819 to 1855. That doesn't mean it was everywhere else. Don't get it twisted. First hotel with plumbing, 1829, the first hotel. The first, just one. The Tremont Hotel in Boston became the first hotel to offer indoor plumbing. Okay, so what did all these other hotels do all this time? (1833) first plumbing in the White House. 1833. So here you got the first hotel to have plumbing. The White House didn't even have plumbing yet. 1833, the White House got plumbing. This is their narrative, not mine. 1835 to 1842, first municipal reservoir. Midtown Manhattan began construction on a municipal aqueduct and reservoir system in 1835 using water from the Croton River. The system began its service in 1842. Now wait till you see this fucking reservoir, okay? It's crazy. The system was capable of delivering 72 million gallons of fresh water a day to city residents. So let me bring that up because I have it. It's down here somewhere, way down in the bowels of my favorites. Let me see here. Here it is. Oh, this is
Customize and
I don't want to play another video and get in trouble. Hold on. I have something else on it. I have pictures. Oh. Here it is right here. All right, guys, this is it right here. This is the first reservoir that they put in. It's huge. Let's see if there's more pictures down here. I wish I could play the video, but like I said, I don't want to get in any trouble. Maybe this will show some more stuff. I have pictures of it. I don't know if I could find them all, but it was like right in the middle of New York. It's pretty crazy. And it looks, it's way more chunkier than this little picture does for it. I mean, it's got like star fork corners and stuff. I don't know if I could find any more information on it. I go back a page. Let me see here. Here, there's another depiction of it. Just see what's down here. Wow, look at all that. Okay, I'll get sucked in. Yeah, they clearly did not build this thing. Okay, this is where it was located. Obviously, you can see how big it is. It's huge, and it seemed to be like it was like right in the center of Central Park or something, but it wasn't. See, it's got like star fork kind of walls here and stuff, real thick. I don't have a lot of pictures on this site. That sucks. Let me see what else we got. Maybe this will have something. I'll drop these links. You guys can look at this stuff on your own. Let's see if they don't have any pictures, any more pictures. So, yep. But if you're interested and you want to pick it apart and look at it, you're more than welcome to. Here's my link. New York City Reservoir. And then they tore it down and put something else in. It's just crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy story. All right, so let me get back over here. Where was I? All right. Sorry, guys. Just gotta close out a couple of things. I don't need that up anymore. Don't need that up. The whole thing earlier screwed me up, man. Unbelievable. I don't know why they took me down. All right. All right, so we're going to check out some pipage. You guys ready for this? Where do I want to start? I guess we'll start at the beginning. We'll start here. These are just some diagrams and stuff of underground workings. There's a lot going on underground, way, way more than we've been told, obviously. And I found a lot of stuff depicting like underground workings, caves, caverns, tunnels and stuff. It's kind of like a whole gallery of them. So I just snapped off a bunch of pictures. Let me see here. Where are we at? This way? Okay, good. Just want to make sure I'm going in the right direction. I thought these were interesting because they look like volcanoes. Clearly they're not, but it's just some underground working stuff. It's a depiction, I know, but again, it just lends more credence to the thought of, you know, these could have been towers that melted down, kind of like cooling towers. They look very cooling tower-ish. This is a component for a computer, or no, excuse me, this is like a plan for a city or something, but it looks like computer parts and stuff. So that was really weird. I was looking at diagrams and that came up. And this here is architecture is a gateway, as a gateway. And this is what I was talking about with you guys, how they built this motherboard system, the architecture, where it's laid out at and stuff. It's all conduits and gateways, and doors, super highways, conduits, this kind of stuff. I thought this was cool too. Again, it shows like an underneath to the above board, if you will, ground level, our plane, and then the workings that are going on under it, under us. There's a lot of stuff down there, and I love these kind of depictions because it kind of just gives you that visual. I don't know what this is. It's crazy looking. I don't know if it's real or not. I'm just showing you. This is what came up in my search for this stuff, and I don't know. I think it's just somebody's drawing or something, but it's really crazy looking. I love that crazy stuff. I don't know what you guys are saying in the chat, but this was interesting too. It's a cross section of some underground stuff. They're going to do this for modern stuff, like living underground and stuff like that. Again, it looks similarly, eerily similar to the motherboard layers that we've looked at on the last show. Now, I told you guys a while back, a lot of people probably don't remember, maybe you just didn't pay attention or you haven't seen that live stream. We covered Petra. I had a friend a long time ago through one of my channels who had gone to Petra and said that there's a lot going on underground there that they don't tell you about. There's grates and different things that you can kind of see down and know that there's stuff underground, but they never talk about it. And I found this at Petra. Look at this, guys. Look at these old pipes at Petra. Wow. They had a whole water management system. I've never heard of those. Have you? I've heard of the little aqueduct thing carved out of the stone to bring river down from, water down from the top, but not these. Not these. Wow. blown away when I saw that. Hey, Kate. Hey, Annette. Welcome. Sue, welcome. You guys are late. Just saying. Here's some ancient pipes, supposedly ancient pipe work that was dug up. These look a lot like the pneumatic tubes. Just saying. This is from Curtis's video screenshot I took. Another one. Clearly it's old world. These rivets give it away, obviously, in the thickness of the steel or whatever they're using here. This was in his video as well on the ceiling of that one archway thing that they went into and checked out. This is a network. This is Paris network of tunnels and passageways and stuff. They're waterworks. And another old ancient pipe here. Ancient pipe. Not so ancient, just muffed up from the X Factor event. More ancient pipes. These are similar. This could be in Pompeii because this does look like the curbs here, the sidewalk curbs or whatever. Pompeii had pipes. They had hot water and cold water. You see these two pipes, hot water and cold water. They even have boilers in their houses and stuff. It was a modern day city, just like what we have today. They even had trolley cars. That's what those ruts are. They're not cart ruts, they're trolley car ruts. From the metal that was in there that carried the trolleys down. And they did find metal embedded into the ground there, and they tried to say that it was for filling in potholes and stuff, but we know that's not true. This is from one of Curtis's videos as well. You got an old world pipe here. This thing is big. It's no joke. It's definitely original for sure, and part of the original infrastructure. Most likely cooling down the mother system. Also, you know, they use this stuff for sewage now and stuff like that, but I think the water coming in had a vast importance, a multifunctional importance, besides just bringing clean drinking water and taking wastewater and drainage away. There's definitely seems to be some kind of cooling system that they were using. This looks just like the pipes we saw grouped together as well in that 2 pictures ago, but it also looks like the pneumatic tube system, excuse me. I keep saying pneumonic, like Johnny Mnemonic. You guys remember that movie, Johnny Mnemonic? It sucked, but anyway. This is the layers, interior sections of a corroded out motherboard side section. So that was interesting. See the ports coming out here? They look like pipes right here. Pipes. Pipes, pipes, pipes. This is another depiction of underground workings going on with massive pipage here being put in by these guys. Lucky for them, they had lighting. There they are. This one's really cool. It shows underneath like France and Germany. Nice little depiction here. All this stuff going on underground. Try to make this like a futuristic thing, but I think this is actually the kind of stuff that is going on underground. Telephone lines. Tunnels and roads. We got entrance to forts. Anti-aircraft guns, underground hangars, more trains. It's all brick down here. That's interesting. It's brick right down here. Ammunition storage. Again, this is another one showing, I think, underneath England. This one could be, I think. I think these are fun to look at. More underground mining. Are they mining? What are they mining? They're mining the motherboard. That's what they're doing. Vertical shafts, the same as you see in the layers of the motherboard, running parallel to each other, back and forth. Another cutaway here, what they're showing, pneumatic tube system, and how they wanted it to go under the river here. And just, I mean, it was already there, obviously. Anyway, this was the conceptual idea. More underground workings here with a major pipe. Major pipe going on. This one was pretty cool. It's showing like a nuclear reactor kind of thing. Some underground stuff going on here. I'm always looking at like side view cutaways, schematics, all this stuff. We showed this on our last show. It's the all the piping and sewer systems and stuff coming from New York, Manhattan. It looks like exactly like the ports on your computer. These pipes are really low. They say they completed 2 of these pipes by 1930, 2 of them. They don't say exactly how long it took to build them, 2 of them, okay? In 1930, 600 feet down and going all the way in and throughout this area here. And they started another one in 1970 so they could close these 2 down for maintenance. And 50 years later, they're barely even in like a mile. And yeah, but they managed to bust out 2 of them by 1930. Make that make sense. I'm just saying. Again, with these vertical shafts and stuff and different workings going on underground. And we see these vertical shafts in the motherboards. Also, when you see people who are going caving, they always run into these vertical shafts that are cylindrical in nature. They're not perfectly cylindrical anymore. They're kind of warped out of shape looking, but they're, you know, like a straight down. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this in these, you know, exploring caves and stuff videos. And I'm really starting to believe that that's what they are. They're the cylindrical shafts that are in the motherboards. And we showed that on the last show. This is another diagram, kind of a underground thing going on here. Pretty crazy looking. Kind of looks like a volcano. I'm just trying to see what you guys are saying in the chat. Okay, so that's it for that group of pictures. Let me go over here real quick. I know, wait, that wasn't it. Okay, so we were here. All right. Let's see this one. This is pretty cool too. It's just like a cutaway of underground stuff, like an underground city and everything. It's kind of weird looking, but there it is. And they're always finding some underground city, you know, some undocumented shit or whatever. This is the interior of the levels of Manhattan. So here you would have the utility level right here. And then you have this main pipe coming in here, which would be your coolant system. And then they got the trains down here and stuff. This is wastewater basically, or main water, water mains as far as drainage goes, like the city drainage. And then you have the deep one down here, the very, very deep one, which is the one that they supposedly did in 1930. And it's just lined up exactly like a motherboard. I showed this last time. This is pretty cool. I like these workings and stuff, just kind of drawing, because it's just, I really do think it looks like this. And it looks like a computer components and stuff, computer board. To me, that's what it looks like. I think it's probably spot on, actually. Here's another one. It says section of East Pier and Caisson. Again, more underground workings and stuff. Who put in all this brick? I don't know. A lot of stuff going on. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys down here. That's it. I don't see anybody else. I don't know what's going on. Not much. All right, let's see. I just showed that one. Is this one? A lot of stuff going on down here. This one's cool. Cave City of Tomorrow. Artificial sunlight. Miles below the surface. See these vertical shafts running down? This is exactly like the layers of the motherboard. Or Darren Kuyu in Cappadocia. Same. It's all the same. Let me see down here what they're doing. This guy's overseeing all this stuff. All right, let's go. Okay, here we go. Some, I think this is them putting in stuff under Paris, this one here. Supposedly. A couple of guys working, a few. Paris Underground Railway. Paris Underground. Here they're putting in pipes. Okay. And we were just talking about Paris a little bit ago. There's just no way. I'm sorry. I just don't think so. What's this one here? Some more underground stuff. So you got all that up there on ground level, and then you got these contraptions here. There's definitely some people over here on this thing. I don't know what's going on, but there's definitely brick right here in the back. It looks like this is all brick looking. I'm just saying. Let's see. Stomach diagram. Oh, we looked at this one earlier. Okay. Yeah. I doubled up some of my pictures. London Underground. Set up just like a computer. Yep. It's a wider view of London's underground. What's going on underneath the streets. Look at this here. Umbrella over Oxford Circus. What is this? That's weird. Huh, I don't know what that is in the corner there. I didn't read that earlier. Subway system. Subway systems have maintenance crews who come in and maintain the subway, just like plumbing and all this stuff. They take care of it. They maintain it. If you have a cataclysm that happens and only a few sporadic people are left, and then you start to grow your population and start to realize, oh, this is already here. What does this do? How do we get this working? Oh, this is a cool one too. It's pretty crazy. Spiral staircase going down here. Look at this. Down this shaft. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay, there's this one. Some kind of mining situation happening here. Hold on. There it is. Hold on, my Zoom went out. All right, let's go. This one's a cool one. I like this one too. This is really cool. Look at this, guys. I don't know where this is supposed to be, but wow. It's crazy. Laying pipe all night. Yeah, I guess you could say that. So here's underground subway systems. New York Underground Railway Company. There's never any depictions, though, of them excavating this stuff and pulling it all out. Giant's Causeway on a microscopic level, a nano level for computers. The stuff that they use, it makes these things. Yeah, look at that. It's just like Giant's Causeway. Nanotechnology. Right there. And then you have Crowley columns in California. They say they're natural, nothing to see here. It's due to some volcano that doesn't exist. There they are. And if you go and look in computers on a nanoscale, you got Crowley columns right there. Nanotechnology. That's what they create. And if you pay attention down here, it looks like Giant's Causeway. It's the same picture that I just showed you. Right here. Boom, baby. Just saying. Right there. Can't make this shit up. It's identical. Okay? Identical. Do you see that? Tell me we're not living on a motherboard. Right there. Make it make sense. This is the interior under a microscope. Layers of the motherboard. It's one of the layers. Looks exactly like what we were seeing in those underground structures. All those depictions and drawings. Look at that. Wow. CPU microscope. Looking at the stuff under a microscope. This is also under a microscope. That's the copper layers and something in between here. I don't know if it's the black resin. You got the vertical shafts. And this is the motherboard layers right here. So you have the ferrite core, lower ROS, signal layer, power ground layer, signal layer, signal layer. Okay. This is a station pump for distributing hot and cold water throughout the motherboard. Cooling systems in Malaysia. This is some kind of crazy, I don't know what this thing is, but it looks like the tube system, you know, we're seeing tubes jutting out of places and all that stuff like that. It just reminded me of that. I don't know if this is supposed to be some kind of rail system or what this is. It's a little too small and grainy for me to read, but I just thought it was interesting. Very interesting. Thank you, Setnik. I appreciate that. All right, this is a depth scraper. So you have skyscrapers and depth scrapers. Now, what is the opposite of tall? Anybody know what the opposite of tall is? It's deep. And this is a depth scraper. That's what it's called. Apparently they were building it, or they had already built it, or it exists somewhere in the world. I don't know, but it goes down pretty damn deep. Goes through the layers of the motherboard. And if I had to guess, it would be for where, you know, maybe the workers lived and maintained the system. Because I can tell you one thing, all the underground stuff in Egypt is all within the motherboard. It's all component. And they were the caretakers of it. They knew how to take care of it. All the Egyptian hieroglyphs are all electronical, all electric. I can prove it. And I'm going to. And that's all it was. It wasn't anything else. So they like to say, well, it has this interpretation or that interpretation and all this stuff. No, it's only got one function, and it's electrical. And their instructions. some underground workings here. Depictions and stuff, you know, people like, it looks like medieval times or something. I don't know what the hell this guy's got on. I showed that one already. This is weird. I don't know about this one here. Vertical space thing. I don't know what it is, but it looks like a volcano. Doesn't that look like very volcano-ish? I'm just saying. That's why I'm showing it to you guys. Some underground shit going on. And I don't know, it just looks like a volcano to me. It's weird. It's a cool schematic. Here's another underground thing. I think this was for the reservoir, when I was looking at the reservoir, maybe, or something. Interesting that they have columns down here underground. Huge columns. I don't know what's going on there. It looks like a pump of some sort. An old map showing an old depiction of some underground stuff in these hills, where all the water's coming from and everything. It's pretty crazy looking. I'm not sure who did this, but there it is. There's another one with showing the interior of, say, like a mountain. If he was here, he could read this probably. It's cool looking though, that's all I know. More underground stuff here. Kind of looks like brick walls in here, these little depictions. And then it looks like thermal, maybe like thermal reservoir of some sort. Yeah, why does the thing keep doing this? Every time I tap it by accident, it goes crazy on me. Go down a little. Everything's messing with me tonight, man. Making it a challenge. My goodness. Let's go out a little bit more on this mofo. Go 100. Okay. That's another one. It looks like water's coming out of some kind of circular holes in the wall, dare I say pipes, I don't know, into this area here. Not sure what's going on with that, but there it is. Some more underground stuff that they found. These people, I don't know what's going on in this depiction, but it looks like they found this. They're like, look at this. What's going on here? What's all this about? Look, there's steps up here. What's going on? They don't look like they're working. Just saying. And back here is really sus. I mean, look at this crazy room back here. It looks crazy. I don't know what's going on. Anyway. And there's this. Don't ask me what's going on. I have no clue, but this guy's got a blindfold on. Never know what you're going to find in these crazy depictions. So this is a city with how to get their street tour up. Obviously, there's a whole lot more underneath these buildings than they're being told. Lots of brick, windows, doors. What do you need that underground for? Why? This is Kuyu, Cappadocia, exactly like the motherboard with the shafts and the levels. This is a depiction of the network. One of these underground cities here. This is a map of a network of tunnels that runs all through Europe and Scotland and England. Yeah, ancient tunnels. Crazy ancient underground tunnels. Here's another map, a larger one, more mapped out of it. So they say these tunnels run from Scotland to Turkey and then across over to Spain and back up again and all under Europe. A whole network of tunnels. All right, let's see here. Oh, no, these guys look like they just found this thing. Like, what's this pillar doing here? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. These guys were caving, checking out some stuff, prospecting. They found this huge room down here in this, I forget what mine it is, but yeah, they were baffled by it. Clearly, they could tell it's man-made, and they don't know what the hell it's doing there. Here it is, another section of it. This is all underground, guys, all underground. Yep. It's just this crazy thing here. It's like a mountain with a door, and supposedly like there's a city in there. Just showing you, there's stuff underground. This is a cistern or sometimes, yeah, a cistern, a depiction of a cistern underground. Now their cisterns are crazy, okay? They have these huge columns in them. They have vaulted ceilings. They have spared no expense with these cisterns. They look as elaborate as a cathedral would look on the inside. Victorian era people putting this in and stuff. It just doesn't make any sense. Let's see what this one is here. Oh, this is underneath the Sphinx. Okay. So entrance to the hall or tunnel. Okay. And then we have these vertical shafts over here. There's so much going on in Egypt underground. It is ridiculous how much stuff is going on down there. There's even more stuff down here. Goes this way, keeps going further to the pyramids. So the pyramids have water in them, both of them, all of them. And they had a causeway of water running up to them. Plus there was water underneath of them. And we're going to get into some of that in a little bit here. South Bridge Vaults under, I don't know, this says Blair Street. I'm not sure what city this is in though, but yeah, look at all this that's going on underground. You can see the pipe coming in here, coming down. This might be the sewer tunnels for Paris. I don't know. Just some futuristic missile stuff, but again, it's all underground working stuff. This is the labyrinth that they say is supposedly somewhere in Egypt under one of the pyramids. It looks very much like a cistern. I don't think it's a labyrinth. I think it's definitely probably for containing water of some sort, like a reservoir underneath. But supposedly it's very elaborate. This was interesting as well. Somebody posted this. I think they lied to us about the Colosseum. So there's the Colosseum on the right. This is a reactor core on the left. And then, of course, you have what looks like a cooling tower being built right here. And then you have Spain, Croatia, Tunisia, whatever, France, Italy, and Libya that have these things. So, yeah, they're very similar. Very, very similar. This is inside the Great Pyramid. We're going to get into this here. What these channels were and stuff, and what this thing actually is and does. And then it talks about the water that's down the bottom and why it has it there. It was really interesting. It kind of looks like a computer. So this is the pumping station below the pyramid. You know, they talk about this room at the base of the pyramid that looks like it's unfinished. It's really rough looking and stuff. But they figured out also that this water gets sucked up into it and it kind of like gets released and then it comes back up again and it gets released. And it's like this, a pulse that it creates, and then it vibrates through the granite of the pyramid. And it just, they explain it in the video. You'll hear it. Pretty interesting. It does this. And there was water that ran up through here and stuff. It's pretty crazy, but it makes sense. It really does. Okay, so we showed this last week. This is supposedly that labyrinth that I was telling you about underneath in this area. So they built the pyramid and then they built this. And they just happened to build it right over a river. And that's convenient because your river is going to cool your friggin' system right here, which looks like a computer chip, by the way. I'm just saying. This is a kind of like a depiction of it as well. Very, very techie looking. Okay, so here's like the layout of it. You can see it's built over the river. So you think, well, why would they do that? It makes sense. If they're trying to cool it down, this would be the cooling tube going through underneath it to cool it. That's why they did it. Because they could have built it over here. Why didn't they do it over there? They did it over here because they're smart and they know what they're doing. That's It's a water cooled component. That's why. Oh, what the heck that is? Okay. Where was I here? Oh, okay. We're right here. Did I get ahead of myself on these? I guess I did. Hold on. Let me get back down here a little. Okay. There we were. Okay. That one's a little grainy. I guess this is them carving it out to build it. I don't know what this is supposed to be with all these people here. But this is what it was supposed to look like in its original form, all finished. Okay, this is inside one of these pyramids. I think this might be the Assyrian. Again, you have these 3 levels. Down here is water that's incorporated into it, and it's just obviously the water is a coolant of some sort, and it helps with whatever reactor stuff they're doing here. Okay, this is a side cutaway of the Great Pyramid, how that works. That's like a pumping thing as well. Let me zoom in on it. Interesting, it looks like an egg. I just noticed that. Oh, here's another underground one. I showed that one already, though. Okay. All right, we're moving forward here. So I can get through these pictures. There's another thing with underground stuff going on, but that's like futuristic. There's that one. Some pipes. They say that this was a pneumatic tubes, network of them underground. Look at this mishmash, crisscross stuff of pipes. But they don't show any pictures of anybody putting this in. And the 1 or 2 pictures you get, well, you know, there's clean people, barely anybody on the site, and the pipes are already in the ground. So there's that. I mean, it's ridiculous. 1906. 1906 this is, guys. Does this look new? This looks like they're just finding it. That doesn't look like they're putting it in. It looks like they're just finding it. Okay? Give me a break. It's more about the tube system here for the mail delivery diagram. Anyway, let's keep going. This is their pneumatic tube system down one of their tunnels. Okay? I don't know how far this tunnel goes, but it looks a lot like the stuff we saw on the World's Fair, underground World's Fair network that they have. It's on my channel in videos. Make sure you go back and look at that if you haven't seen it. This goes on and on and on. Look at all those tubes. Major tubage here. All right. Okay, here's another tunnel with the tubes in it, pneumatic tubes. Wow, just wow. Who knows how far down that tunnel goes? Here's a pipe that somebody dug up. I don't know how, I mean, it's pretty down there, okay? And it looks like it's in the middle of like some farmland or something. Look at this pipe. That's original. That's crazy right there. What is this from? I think it's the pneumatic tubes again. Oh no, this is they're putting in another pipe. It might have to do with the one back here. This one, I think. One guy, guys, one guy. He's got a bowler hat on, and I bet he's in a 3-piece suit. And then it looks like you got I don't know what's back here. I don't even think there's anybody back here. I thought there was maybe like another guy right here, but I think it's a tree. One guy. Make it make sense. Why is there one guy here? I'm not buying it. I'm just saying. I'm not buying it. Put a 1 in the chat if you're buying this picture right here. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me right now? Oh, I did it again. I hate it when this thing does this. Sorry. It's all right. It's all good. Go back to this one. Can't believe they shut down my other live stream. What the F, bro? I'm not sure what this picture was from. Some crazy mechanisms here and stuff. Whatever was here is all muffed up and janky now. I don't know why I snapped that picture. Here's more original pipe work going on underground. None of this looks new. Okay. None of it. It looks like they just found it and it's in disarray. And they got to go in and clean it and fix it all up. Just look at it. It's all original piping. Oh, no, I don't have no reason. Obviously, I didn't get a strike register because I'm up again. So I was able to, and I checked and I don't have anything wrong. So I have no idea. I was showing a free documentary. It was free. It didn't say I got, copyright or anything. So I don't know what happened. All right, this is from Curtis. And this is sticking out of the side of a building. And it's not even like tucked away anywhere. It's just sticking out. Cluster of pipes, which look a lot like the cluster of pipes we were just looking at for the pneumatic system. And here I put a side by side because this is a etching drawing of the pneumatic pipes. And here's the pipe sticking out over here of a wall where he was at. Make it make sense. I'm just saying. Why would they just be clumped up and sticking out like this right here? It's just so weird because it's a whole building. It's just on the side of it, just sticking out. And you had these as well. Back to that again. Inside Great Pyramid. All right, let me see here. Oh yeah, I wanted to show. Okay, we were right here. Okay. Nikola Tesla. He's a power plant. That's the pumping thing again. Hold on. Syrian temple, which has a pump under it as well. They've come to the conclusion that every time they drain this water out, it comes right back up to the same water level. And if it gets too high, it goes down to this water level as well. There's some mechanism way down below the Syrian temple in Egypt that is controlling the water because this is a component and it probably needs to be cooled. This is it from above. Very component looking. This is part of the, I don't think this is under the Assyrian. This is under one of those pyramids here. This crazy thing here. And it's got water all around it. Here it is right here. Very, very component looking. Crazy. And it's deep. Electronics here. The vacuum tubes. I have a picture coming up that you're going to like with all this vacuum tube stuff and everything. Okay, these are the batteries that the Egyptians would use. And they had these coils and it was dipped in some kind of oil and it created a charge. And but I think they were way more advanced than this stuff. Here it is here. This is what it looked like, a diagram of it, a side cutaway, copper. It's very basic. Everything that they're doing is basic. It's very, very simple. Even this one guy recreated what he saw in the Great Pyramid. He made it on a small scale and it worked. It took him 4 tries to get it right because he was guessing at what he was doing. But on the 4th try, it worked. And it made a pulse. It was creating an electrical charge. It's crazy. Just like that. These are depicting wires and cables going to some kind of mechanisms here in Egypt on one of their reliefs. Again, this is also wiring. They said this is supposed to be some kind of elaborate necklace, but these are all electrical components, guys, all of it. And they're even wearing their hats in here as well. Again, here you have the light bulb with the DJed column and, the wire coming out of the back of it here, plug it into this thing. It's all electrical, all this stuff. And they have their hats on. Here you can see how Nikola Tesla utilized the water as well for his system here for electricity. And the same goes with the pyramid. It's the same system, it's the same exact setup. Got the Waz scepter, the Ankh, and the Djed in the center here. When you put them together in a certain way, you have power. Everything's on. You have current and voltage. Here's them installing Djed columns. They're installing them because these are not just ceremonies they're doing and stuff for the gods. This is tech, and they're installing these Djed pillars. Here they have their hats on, their hat gear, hardware on top. More hats. Installation Djed pillar. And then these are the pipes in Petra. And this is a cistern section in Petra. So those pipes lead to this underneath Petra. And look, it's all brick. That's right. Underneath Petra, guys. Can you believe it? I couldn't believe it. There it is. Ancient Nabatean cistern. Look, it's right there. And then there's this, of course, something for electricity, this ironworks thing, that meshing that they have in Russia over one of these old bridges. It's really cool. Yep, there's more going on in the oceans than could possibly fathom. Space is a diversion, and I agree. There's so much more going on underground and in the oceans. They just don't want you to look at it. I forget what this was. What the heck was this? Oh, that was something like under, anyway, I forget what it was. I was going to play a little game with you with that. I think it was a computer chip or something for a computer, but it looked just like a construction site section. World Trade Center. Okay, hold on. What was I looking at over here on this thing? Okay, this building here. This is odd, guys. Look at, why would you put in the middle of your building here? And I mean, is something's not right here? I don't know. I mean, what do I know? I'm not an architect, but there it is. It's strange. Just saying. Okay, so this thing is a World Trade Center transport hub, is what they're talking about in this. But there was something really cool at the base of this picture. I don't know if I got it in here or not. Okay, I'll have to go back to it and zoom in. Okay, so scroll down here. And I'm assuming this is the Hudson River. I could be wrong, but this river's got those same pipes in them, just like along the Merrimack that Curtis and Shawnee B was showing. So I thought that was interesting. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less at this point. Of course it would be. This is showing some kind of layout of something they were going to build. But again, it looks set up just like a computer motherboard. And this is how they show their architecture. Again, this is not computer components. This is stuff that they're mocking up for some type of architecture. It looks very component looking, like a small stadium or whatever it says here. Oh, let's see what this one is. It's an underground cutaway of living spaces. Okay. Back at this pyramid. All right. That's me and my son, boots on the ground up at Mount Chiha a couple years back. We had a lot of fun. All right, so let's see here. Let me close this out. Now we're going to go over here, and we're going to check out this video. I know I can share this. It's not going to be a problem. I'm going to start it from the beginning. You guys have to pay attention. So make sure. I don't know if I put on the volume for this or not. I think I did. I'm going to screen share and check, though. Okay, hold up. Hope everybody's having fun. I got 42 people here. Welcome back, everybody. I can't believe they took me down like that. But I didn't get a strike, because if I did, like I said, I wouldn't be here. So I don't know what the problem was. All right, we're going to go over here and watch this. It's 36 minutes long, and I'm going to stop along the way because there's important stuff here that we need to talk about. And you know what? Let me just mute while this is on for a minute.
The Great Pyramid of Giza, an architectural and engineering masterpiece, remains one of the most remarkable achievements in human history, embodying a level of precision and sophistication that still baffles researchers and scholars today. This monument holds within its stones secrets and traces of advanced technology that we are only beginning to understand. Just when you approach the pyramid, you can start seeing these traces of advanced technology. For example, there are many basalt stone blocks with vertical machine marks on them. The presence of vertical lines meticulously carved into basalt, a material not native to the pyramid's vicinity, raises immediate questions about the tools and methods employed by the ancients. These lines, distinct from mere scratches, display a pattern indicative of saw marks, suggesting the use of advanced machining technology far beyond the capabilities of bronze chisels or saws, even when aided by abrasive materials like silica sand. Further scrutiny of the area uncovers additional examples that hint at the utilization of older, yet highly advanced machining techniques. For instance, remnants of saw cuts with diameters approximating 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch reveal not only the precision, but also the possibility of curved cuts, potentially pointing towards the use of giant circular saws. This evidence contradicts the traditional narrative that attributes the pyramid's construction to simple tools and manual labor. In front of the second pyramid, we can find many remnants of molten granite within channels extending from the pyramid towards the Sphinx. A particularly striking discovery is a limestone block with a channel of molten granite running through it, showcasing a vivid array of colors and hinting at the intense heat it must have endured. This, along with areas of charred granite and limestone, raises intriguing questions about the processes and events that led to these conditions. Observations of the original external casing stones further complicate the story. The extremely tight fit between these stones suggests a level of craftsmanship and precision that is difficult to reconcile with the tools supposedly available during the pyramid's construction. The Great Pyramid and its two smaller pyramids are placed in the exact same manner as the three stars that make up Orion's belt. The last time the pyramids aligned with Orion's belt was about 10,450 years ago. This strongly suggests the pyramids are at least 10,000 years old and are probably much older. Perhaps that would explain why there's no mention of the pyramids or their creation in any of the Egyptian writings. Such evidence challenges the established chronology of Egyptian history and suggests that the Great Pyramid, and possibly its neighbors, might have pre-existed the dynastic Egyptian civilization. Most people think that the pyramids of Giza are just these three large pyramids. However, the complex is filled with numerous smaller structures, including many small pyramids that still bear their original casing stones. There are also numerous shafts and tunnels like the Osiris shaft, which hint at the notion that there's a massive subterranean complex below the Giza Plateau. Situated at 115 feet, or 35 meters below the surface, the Osiris shaft leads to what is referred to as the Tomb of Osiris. It features a granite sarcophagus at the center of a chamber. Surrounded by an artificial canal filled with water. The question that naturally arises is, how did they ensure a reliable water source to fill this canal? And moreover, how did they manage to maintain the water at precisely the right level? The only plausible explanation for this feat is
I took two things that I love, dancing and dogs, and I made them into a successful business.
advanced underground hydrological system of chambers and tunnels in the vicinity, specifically designed to harness and direct water from.
All right, I just want to unmute myself. They're not tombs, obviously. And they're not sarcophagi, obviously. There's no dead people in them or anything. It's a component on the grid system. It has a function, and it's Baroque. And clearly, it was an important function, whatever this thing is. But
from a natural spring into the shaft. The solid bedrock in the area rules out the chance of random leaks, further supporting the theory that the water is supplied via a deliberately constructed concealed channel. The implications of such a channel are profound, indicating a monumental subterranean engineering project unparalleled in its time. The true purpose of this subterranean structure is a mystery, and there aren't any ladders or any other method to even go down there. So how did they manage to place massive granite sarcophagi weighing up to 40 tons each inside the structure? Furthermore, the decision to bring these massive granite boxes underground instead of carving them directly into the bedrock meant a specific purpose was attached to these objects or the material they were made of. There was one sarcophagus that was not made of granite, though. It was made from dacite, a material that was not used for any other known object in ancient Egypt's history. Not only that, this material cannot be found anywhere in Africa. This means that whoever built the shaft transported this massive 40-ton dacite sarcophagus over vast distances, possibly from across the Mediterranean. The application of advanced dating techniques has revealed that the shaft is most likely at least 5,000 years old, pushing back the timeline of this site to pre-dynastic periods. The Serapeum of Saqqara is an ancient Egyptian necropolis located near Cairo, which is renowned for its assemblage of massive granite boxes believed to be sarcophagi. These boxes, crafted with astonishing precision, have sparked considerable debate about their creation. The extraordinary craftsmanship evident in these granite boxes suggests the use of advanced technology far beyond what is traditionally attributed to the ancient Egyptians. Each box in the Serapeum of Saqqara is hewn from a single piece of granite, a material known for its extreme hardness. The boxes are enormous, with some weighing up to 70 tons, including the lid and base. This means that the blocks from which they were carved would have been weighing around 200 tons. The precision with which these boxes have been crafted is remarkable. Their corners are perfectly square, and the flat surfaces are exquisitely smooth, with an accuracy that rivals modern machining capabilities. This level of precision, achieved several millennia ago, is astounding and has led to the speculation that the ancient Egyptians had access to advanced technology, possibly lost to time. One of the most striking features of these boxes is their interior surfaces, which are equally precise and smooth as the exteriors. Achieving such accuracy on the inside of a stone box particularly with the tools supposedly available at the time, seems impossible. The walls of the boxes are of uniform thickness, suggesting the use of sophisticated measuring and cutting equipment. This level of uniformity and precision in stonecraft is rarely found in other ancient Egyptian artifacts, leading to questions about the technology and methods used in their construction. Moreover, the process of hollowing out these massive granite blocks would have required significant understanding and control of stone cutting techniques. The conventional tools of the ancient Egyptians, primarily made of copper, would have been inadequate for shaping such hard stone with the precision observed. This discrepancy has fueled theories suggesting that the builders of the Serapeum possessed advanced technological knowledge, potentially including high-speed drills, diamond-tipped cutting tools, or other sophisticated machinery. Another aspect that intrigues researchers is the purpose of these boxes. Traditionally believed to be sarcophagi for the burial of sacred Apis bulls, this explanation has been questioned due to the box's elaborate and precise construction, which seems excessive for mere burial purposes. Some theorists propose that these boxes were used for purposes that required precise dimensions and smooth surfaces, perhaps related to some form of energy manipulation or scientific process unknown to modern science. Additionally, the granite boxes also possess acoustic properties. The transportation and placement of these massive boxes are also subjects of wonder. The Serapeum's underground tunnels are narrow and winding, making the movement of such large objects a logistical challenge. Also, why are there no signs of torches, such as burn marks, anywhere in the Serapeum of Saqqara? What kind of lighting did they use to illuminate these underground spaces? In contrast to these theories, mainstream archaeology attributes the precision and craftsmanship of the granite boxes to the skill and patience of ancient craftsmen who, over generations, perfected their stone working techniques. Critics of the advanced technology theory argue that there is no direct archaeological evidence supporting the existence of machinery or tools sophisticated enough to create these boxes in ancient Egypt. Creating such precision in ancient times would have required not only advanced tools, but also a sophisticated understanding of engineering and geometry. The scale and precision of the boxes in the Serapeum are not replicated in any modern granite quarries, indicating that the ancient Egyptians, or perhaps a pre-existing civilization, had access to technology and knowledge that are not yet fully understood. But let's get back to the Great Pyramid of Giza. According to measurements, the Great Pyramid is the most accurately aligned structure in existence and faces true north with only 3/60ths of a degree of error. The position of the North Pole moves over time, and the pyramid was exactly aligned at one time. Even more incredibly, the Great Pyramid is located at the center of the landmass of the Earth. The east-west parallel that crosses the most land and the north-south meridian that crosses the most land intersect in two places on the Earth, one in the ocean and the other at the Great Pyramid. This alignment was achieved without the compass, which would not be invented for thousands of years. Such precision suggests a profound understanding of astronomy and possibly the use of star sightings.
All right, so they're going to get into the water below the pyramid now in this section coming up. So this is where we want to pay attention.
Or other advanced methods to determine cardinal directions with astounding accuracy. The builders of the pyramids had such detailed knowledge of the solstices and equinoxes that on the day of the spring equinox, the sun shines directly over the Great Pyramid, and in those few moments, the pyramid does not cast a shadow. Another interesting feature is the acoustic qualities within the pyramid, particularly within the king's chamber. The chamber is constructed from huge blocks of granite, a material known for its density and sound reflecting abilities. When vocalizations or sounds are made within this chamber, they resonate, creating a powerful and reverberating acoustic effect. This resonance doesn't merely amplify sound, it seems to enhance it, giving it a quality that is both profound and enduring. Listen to these acoustic demonstrations from Brian Forrester's video, in which he examines the king's chamber, together with Youssef Awiyan, an expert of acoustic resonance. The sound can linger in the air far longer than one would expect, leading researchers to propose that the pyramid's architects might have intentionally incorporated these acoustic features. The specific dimensions and materials chosen for the king's chamber, and possibly other parts of the pyramid, could have been meticulously selected to achieve a particular resonance frequency. This suggests a level of knowledge and intentionality in the use of sound that is quite advanced, indicating the practical significance of acoustics in the pyramid's design. One of the most astounding theories of all emerged in the 1960s, thanks to a man named Edward Kunkel. In 1962, Kunkel published a book entitled Pharaoh's Pump, which shook up the world of Egyptology. In it, he argued that the passages and chambers in and beneath the Great Pyramid were the conduits and reservoirs of a giant water pump that would have been used to send water out into the desert to irrigate the land. According to Kunkel, the pyramid actually contained two pumps, one underground, represented by the pyramid's mysterious subterranean chamber, and the other above ground in the middle and upper chambers. Together, they would create two streams that would exit the pyramid through shafts on the north and south sides. Unsurprisingly, Kunkel's work caused great skepticism, not only from Egyptologists who rejected the theory outright, but from engineers who pointed out that Kunkel's design would have required the creation of a vacuum, a number of valves, and some type of combustible fuel and combustion chamber to drive the pump. Yet, not bound by the same restrictions as mainstream Egyptology, many engineers began to look closer at Kunkel's work, realizing that it was not totally without merit. While Kunkel's two-pump design would likely not have been possible, some engineers noted that a ram pump might actually make sense. A ram pump is a simple device used for centuries to move water from a reservoir to somewhere else using two moving parts and the force of gravity. Could the builders of the Great Pyramid really have created a ram pump on such a massive scale? With the possibility established, other researchers and scholars picked up on the idea, designing a theoretical layout in which the Great Pyramid was fed with water from the Western Nile and nearby Lake Moeris, which each sat at a higher elevation, making them the perfect sources for a gravity-fed water system on the Giza Plateau. Some even believe that the retaining wall, which is known to have once surrounded the pyramid complex, could have been an embankment for an on-site reservoir. As more and more people came to believe that the Great Pyramid really could have been an enormous ancient water pump, they were backed by one simple, overarching argument: economics. Think about it. The Great Pyramid is made up of 2.3 million blocks, each weighing between 25 and 80 tons, meaning that if workers moved and laid 12 blocks per hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it would have taken 20 years to construct. More than that, it has been estimated that, adjusted into modern dollar values, the pyramid would have cost more than $5 billion to create. Simply, why go to all this trouble and all this expense just for a tomb? Obviously, Egyptian pharaohs had more leeway than modern, democratically elected leaders, but they were not totally unbound from the realities of finance and economics. Would it not make more sense to go to all this trouble for something which was going to provide a higher return on investment, like, say, a water pump which would allow you to irrigate your civilization and feed your people? Here, we must take a step back in order to get to the point. If the Great Pyramid really was an enormous water pump, then it must have been pumping the water somewhere. This is where some have connected the dots and returned to the mysterious pit at Zawiat El Aryan. They believe that the site was not an unfinished pyramid, but an outflow location for water pumped by the Great Pyramid, the giant pit designed as a reservoir for water pumped in from below. The discovery of this granite block, along with subsequent findings of more granite blocks and an enormous 30-ton pink granite block forming the foundation of a sort of pavement, led Barsanti to believe that he had found the entrance to a subterranean world, possibly filled with untold treasures or significant historical artifacts. One of the most remarkable discoveries at the Zawiat El Aryan site was a large oval vat made of pink granite, polished like a mirror and intricately carved out of one of the pavement blocks. The vat's protection, involving a layer of lime and a thick bed of well-spread clay, suggests it held great importance, possibly containing something of value or significance. The side walls of the vat were lined with a black band, possibly the residue of some liquid, pointing to its use in a unique and unknown process. The vat's design and the evident efforts to preserve its integrity suggest it was an integral part of a sophisticated process, possibly related to energy generation or storage. During the excavation of the site by Barsanti and his team in 1905, a massive storm hit Egypt and the pit at Zawiat El Aryan. The torrential rains filled the pit with over 10 feet of water.
Wow.
Incredibly, a few hours after the storm, the water level in the pit abruptly dropped. Surely, Barsanti asserted, this must be because the water was seeping down into some sort of subterranean chamber, into the hidden apartments he believed were waiting to be found beneath the pit. Between the weight of the blocks, the cement-like mortar, and the interlocking pattern, the work was the most difficult his team had ever undertaken. But to Barsanti, this only proved his point. Surely, whoever had constructed the site had gone to such great lengths to make the blocks of the floor unmovable, because they were meant to conceal a hiding place, something extremely important. Unfortunately, the work was so difficult that, again, Barsanti ran out of money before he could solve the mystery. Then World War I broke out, shutting the sites of Egypt down to further exploration. In 1917, Barsanti unexpectedly died at the age of 59. Rather than continue Barsanti's work, Egyptologists simply forgot about the site, leaving the mystery of what lay beneath it unsolved. The sudden restriction of access to the Zawiat El Aryan site by the Egyptian government in the 1960s, just as interest in its mysteries was renewed, only deepens the intrigue. A military base now stands over the site, and no one can enter it. While definitive proof remains elusive, the architectural complexities and unexplained features of the Zawiat El Aryan site, coupled with its proximity to the Great Pyramid, suggest that it may have been part of an advanced technological system for energy generation and distribution in ancient Egypt. It might actually go much further than pumping water for irrigation. Early in 1999, a marine engineer named John Cadman was perusing the shelves at a used bookstore when he stumbled across an old, dusty copy of a most unusual book, Pharaoh's Pump. As an expert in hydraulics, The book intrigued Cadman, so he purchased it and took it home. When he began to read it more closely, he quickly realized that Kunkel's idea was not as ridiculous as he had initially assumed. Wanting to know more, Cadman began to learn everything he could about the Great Pyramid. Almost immediately, what he discovered captivated him. The Great Pyramid's subterranean chamber, he realized, looked eerily like the layout for a ram pump. He took his research further, noting from photographs that the subterranean chamber showed obvious signs of water damage, particularly on the ceiling, where signs of cavitation, which is caused by gas bubbles in water due to violent churning, were evident, as well as clear damage from compression waves striking it. In other words, it was not just that the subterranean chamber could work as a water pump, but according to Cadman's trained eyes, it appeared it had worked as such. At this point, Cadman knew what he had to do. He must draw upon his years of experience with hydraulics and create his own scale model of the pyramid and its subterranean chamber to see if it would really work as a water pump. He built his first model, using a nearby river as a reservoir. Unfortunately, the model did not work, first leaking, then cracking and failing to pump water as he had hoped. But Cadman would not give up that easily. He built another model, then another, both of which suffered the same fate as the first. But on his fourth try, he got everything right, and much to Cadman's delight, his pump worked. This proved to Cadman beyond a doubt that the Great Pyramid could have functioned as a giant water pump, and that surely this was not by accident. It was clear, he asserted, that the creators of the Great Pyramid's subterranean chamber had known exactly what they were doing. This was the breakthrough that disciples of Edward Kunkel's original work had been waiting for, the tangible proof that a Great Pyramid water pump was more than just speculation. And yet, as Cadman continued his research, the results got even more mind-blowing, and in fact, went far beyond the mere pumping of water.
That's right.
Having proved that the Great Pyramid's subterranean chamber could function as a water pump, Cadman built a new, bigger model and encased it in concrete in order to simulate the effects of the pump operating underground. He moved the model, which weighed over 500 pounds, to a seasonal creek with a pond serving as a reservoir. As this model began to work, Cadman immediately noticed something which shocked him. Encased in concrete, the pump was creating a vertical compression wave, a recurring heartbeat-like thump which could be felt through the ground 20 feet away and heard more than 100 feet away. Cadman realized that what he had constructed went far beyond just a water pump. Because of the powerful waves it generated, Cadman renamed the device a pulse generator.
A pulse generator. And this is, excuse me, guys, this is on a small scale. This guy did it. Now, if you put it on the scale of the pyramid, you're talking some next level stuff right there.
Truly, this changed everything. If the Great Pyramid's subterranean chamber was generating pulse waves, these waves would have moved through the granite upper chambers and passageways of the pyramid, and due to granite's reflective properties, created ionization in the atmosphere, in effect, producing an electric field. Put more simply, the pulses created by the subterranean pump would have interacted with the pyramid's granite to produce electricity. It appeared that Cadman had not only proven that the Great Pyramid could function as a water pump to move water around Egypt for irrigation, but one which could actually create electricity in ancient times. Of course, those who have watched this channel before will know that the idea of the Great Pyramid as an electrical generator did not start with John Cadman. In fact, as early as the turn of the 20th century, it appeared prominently in the work of famed inventor Nikola Tesla. But while many of you will already be aware of the work of Tesla, you may not be aware of his obsession with ancient Egypt, and specifically the pyramids, which he studied in detail, wrote about, and incorporated into his work. Consider, in 1905, Tesla filed a patent titled Art of Transmitting Electrical Energy Through a Natural Medium, which contained the design for something called Tesla's electromagnetic pyramid. Supplementing his genius with what he had learned about ancient Egypt, his idea was to use a huge pyramid-like structure to project energy skyward, where it could then be harnessed by individual receptors around the world. Interestingly, Tesla actually built a model of his electromagnetic pyramid known as Wardenclyffe Tower, a 187-foot tall structure topped with a 55-ton dome of conductive metal. Unfortunately, before he could conclusively prove that his model could create energy, Tesla lost his funding and the project was abandoned. And yet, even though Tesla's work on electromagnetic pyramids disappeared, the idea did not. Thanks to Tesla, many began to look at the Great Pyramid with fresh eyes, and specifically its original makeup, covered in white tufa limestone blocks, which are known for unparalleled insulating properties. Its tunnels and chambers beneath lined with granite, a well-known electrical conductor. Simply, this would have been the perfect layout if the intent was to create and utilize electricity. Little granite channels of electrical conductivity surrounded by insulation, not unlike copper wires encased in rubber in modern electronic devices.
Exactly.
Moreover, it is known that the Great Pyramid was originally topped by a capstone of gold, one of the most electrically conductive materials on Earth, similar to how Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower was topped with a 55-ton metal ball. In other words, if the Great Pyramid was designed for electricity, its builders couldn't have done it better. And if it wasn't, well, in an historic coincidence, they'd accidentally stumbled into the perfect design.
Yeah, there are no coincidences, so we know that. Clearly, this is a component on the grid system, and it involves water. So that's really important. And now we're going to get into the shafts. And I have been saying this whole time, ever since anybody's been listening to me, that these hieroglyphs are not spiritual or have anything to do with their daily stuff and whatever little rituals that they did. It was instructions. They're instructions. That's what these hieroglyphs are. And they actually talk about that right here coming up.
To add to the mystery, in 1993, a mysterious and inaccessible room was discovered after remaining hidden for thousands of years. Appearing to have deliberately been concealed by the structure's engineers, the room came to be called the Queen's Chamber and was finally explored in 2011 with a small remote camera to reveal something very strange. It contained carefully crafted copper wire, and more importantly, there were instructions painted as symbols onto the floor, which appeared to show a clear wiring diagram. You can run an electric current through copper wire, and the coil will produce a short-range magnetic field. Add a second coil, and the power is transferred from one coil to the other. A windowless room with copper wirings could create a higher potential on one wall, which transfers energy to the lower potential, consequentially releasing electromagnetic energy into the confined space of the so-called Queen's Chamber. Indeed, so suggestive was the evidence that the idea continued to develop into modern times. Christopher Dunn is a mechanical engineer who has worked for more than half a century at the highest levels of aerospace manufacturing, which transfers energy to the lower potential, consequentially releasing electromagnetic energy into the confined space of the so-called Queen's Chamber. Indeed, so suggestive was the evidence that the idea continued to develop into modern times. Christopher Dunn is a mechanical engineer who has worked for more than half a century at the highest levels of aerospace manufacturing. In the 1970s, Dunn began to develop an interest in the mystery in which the Great Pyramid drew seismic energy from the Earth, producing electricity in the King's Chamber through the use of hydrogen created by a chemical reaction in the Queen's Chamber. So groundbreaking was Dunn's work that it inspired researchers around the world to follow his lead. For more than 2 decades,
Okay, so that's it for that. But in that little chamber where they come up to that wall with those 2 things hanging down, they sent that little thing up there. they found instructions inside it. And that just proves what I was saying before about how all these things are instructions, these hieroglyphs. And here they are here. They found them on the interior of that little tiny shaft that's going up out of the Queen's chamber. And clearly these are hieroglyphic instructions on what this thing is or what it's for, you know, just like you would find on your electronics. And that's what their symbolism is. And these are supposedly pipes that they were putting in for this building here that is part of the World's Fair in Paris, way back in the day, 1700s or very, very early 1800s. Of course, you got your janky ladder here. You always have that. And then whatever little bit of work's going on here, because, you know, the pipes are already there, okay? They're there. They're not putting them in, they're there. And I know it's a depiction, but still, there's not a lot of people working on this thing. There's maybe like 10 or 12, maybe 15 people. There's more up here as you go up. So this is their drawing of these 3 main pipes that were coming from this building here. Again, in my opinion, they just dug them all up, found them. And this is the Paris sewer system, supposedly. It's supposed to be brand new at this point, okay? I think that these mining carts here that they have here is them just cleaning it up and opening it up, taking out maybe sediment and whatever else might have flowed in here after the event. None of this looks new to me, just saying. These guys don't even look that dirty. They're in 3-piece suits. I mean, what's going on here? 2 guys back here posing. What a little mining cart. This is an aqueduct bridge that was built for the pipes themselves above ground. Pretty crazy. There they are. That's crazy looking, right, guys? Massive pipes. This is supposed to be them putting in a pipe, okay? So you got one guy down here, right down here in the pit. Let's take a good look at these guys, okay? See what's going on. There's the pipe in the ground. These guys down here, they don't look too dirty. I'm just saying they don't look that dirty, okay? Got upper management, making sure everything's going good. We got this guy over here. And then we got these guys pushing this thing in. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look at this thing. I'm just saying, guys. Make it make sense. None of this makes sense. I'm going to say wrapping up. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, here's them constructing it again as well. Let's see what we got. A bunch of posers. A bunch of people that look nice and clean in their 3-piece suits with their vests and their jackets on and their hats. Don't look very dirty. These guys don't look that dirty. I mean, somebody tell me what's going on here. Look at this guy. He's in a 3-piece suit, in a tube, in a tunnel. Right here. I don't know. It looks very sketchy to me. None of it's very sus. This is also one of these major pipes going through here with one that's going to be coming up to it. Look at this thing. I mean, we're just seeing the side of it here, okay? This was clearly all here already. You can see it's all cooked out and muffed up. This guy, one guy in this picture, he didn't even do anything. He doesn't even look dirty. Got a nice row of brick up here. What's that? I mean, that pipe is just crazy. Crazy, crazy pipe. Got these ones here. I don't know the date on this picture. Massive piping. And you got this guy. And that's about it, just him. There's 4 major pipes right here. This one here that goes across the bridge. Just looked at the other one that was an aqueduct. I don't know the date on this picture either. I'm assuming they're all around the same time, which is early 1900s. Again, here we have a giant pipe and 2 guys. And not a whole lot going on. Just saying. Look at that thing. Here, I think they're supposedly constructing a dam of some sort, maybe. Again, if you pay close attention to these people, they're all posing. All of them are posing. They're not working, they're posing. Okay? They don't look that dirty. They don't look like a whole lot's going on. There ain't even dirt on that shovel right there. This guy's got his vest and his hat on. I mean, this guy's standing down in the middle of some stuff here. I mean, really? These guys are doing this? Are you kidding me? I'm just saying, guys. Where is everybody? There should be people crawling all over this thing, making it, or whatever. Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. This doesn't make sense. Another installation, supposedly, of this pipe. We got this guy here who's probably paying for it all. Where's everybody else? I have no clue. It must be lunchtime again. Another part of that massive pipe. I mean, just to make this pipe alone is next level. This guy is not doing anything. A whole lot of nothing. He looks a little dirty, so that's good. That's about it, though. Where's everybody at? Is anybody's guess? Do not know. Here's on strike. More of this underground piping. All original. I think this was some of the pneumatic tubes, maybe. Okay, this is supposed to be them putting in the sewers in France, that sewer system. Now let's see what we got going on here. It's not the greatest picture, but this is the best that I could get. It doesn't look like a whole lot's going on. It looks like they're just kind of looking around on top, trying to figure this whole thing out. Got a bunch of spectators on the side watching. I mean, look at this right here. What's all this? Huh. Again, with their supposed underground sewer systems and train tunnels and stuff that they supposedly put in. Look at this. What? What's this down here? Look at this. Of course, you got the ladder. There's always the ladder. The janky ladder is always there. And then you got this conduit under here, this arch that goes in, clearly up under these buildings and stuff. Crazy looking picture. Here you can see that thing a little better. Okay, again, where is everybody? We got 1, 2, 3 guys here. Maybe a 4th one. I don't know. Okay, where's this thing going over here? Look at that. Right here. It looks like what you're seeing along the Merrimack River. Right there. That's the original sewer system, probably. Look at this. What? Are you kidding me right now? Where is everybody? Sorry. Okay, this is interesting. So there was a sinkhole in this, I think it's France. This is when they realize something's underground. And look, it's a brick road, by the way. All that's brick, okay? And it started to cave in and collapse. And they realized that there's something down there. This is the sewer system under Paris. All this on the ceiling here is brick. All of it. Look at that, guys. All brick. This doesn't look new in any form or fashion to me at all. This does not look new. This looks like it's being repaired, cleaned up. These guys, what are these guys doing? Nothing. Just hanging out in their three-piece suits. Working. Oh, they're not even working. Look at all this janky brick right here that they're sitting on. This is all cooked out, muffed up shit from the X Factor. It was all here. These guys aren't doing anything. Nothing. Just nothing. Poor guys. No, just doesn't make any sense. Okay, look, this is a perfect example of them lying to us, okay? Look at this. This is supposed to be new. Look at this. Look at this arch. Look at how muffed up it is. That's not new. That's not new. Not new. There's bricks right there behind them, or they're probably planks of wood. Let me go back here and look at this arch here under here. That's not new. Looks like they're digging it out. These guys are doing nothing and they're not dirty. So they're all fired, okay? I'm just saying. Does anybody work around here? I mean, come on. Get paid by the hour, aren't you? What is this mess? Definitely. Okay, so over here on this side, down here, I thought I saw something, maybe not. But that's the giveaway right there, guys. Look at that arch. It's supposed to be brand new. It should be beautiful brick, not janky, weird looking like that. All muffed up. Just saying. Okay, these are those pipes again, leading up to that. Okay, now this is important here, okay, because we were just listening to the Egyptian stuff. All this is connected, by the way, okay? It all goes together, everything I'm showing you. I was watching a video on electrical components and how they used to make them back in the 60s. And this came up. And I was like, wow, oh my gosh, I've seen this before, okay? Now, where it says electrical component, I added that in. Hold on. All muffed up. All right, here we go. Okay, I added electrical component in here. But when the video was on and it came up and I saw this right here, I knew exactly what it was. You know why? I'll tell you why, because I know my Egyptian hieroglyphs. That's why. And I knew that it was this right here, Egyptian hieroglyph right here. These are electrical components and these are instructions, okay? Because that is that right there. And this is a part of a some kind of a tube lighting component. Crazy, right? I know. I was freaking out when I saw that. As soon as I saw it, I was just like, I know what that is. That's Egyptian hieroglyph. And there it is. Sure enough. Boom, baby. That was a boom, baby moment for me. Let's see what this is here. Station something was named after a highly regarded engineer, and he became known as the father of the metro. His work is described as worthy of the Romans. All right, well, let's see what's going on here on this crazy construction site here that looks just... Where is everybody, first off? There's a guy over here with a hat. There's a ladder, because you got to have that. The ladder has not come hasn't come a very long way. Improvements until modern times. No, I don't know, guys. Doesn't make sense to me, any of this stuff. It's like they're just finding it and digging it out and telling us that they were building it. Okay, here's one of the supposed tunnels for the trains that was being built. Yeah, where is everybody? I know that it looks like there's maybe like one or two people. That's it. Apparently back in the day, you didn't need many people and you could build colossal things with no standards for construction sites or anything. Look at these massive pipes right here coming up. Right here, right here. Huge. What do you got? 1, 2, 3. Maybe a fourth one lingering somewhere in here. Maybe. That's it. That's all. No more. That's all you get. That's all you need. Apparently. Yeah, we're back at this picture here, which is another part of that. Nice tall ladder there. Gotta have that. We got 2 guys, 2, maybe 3. Look at how disorganized this is. I mean, it just, I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay, the other part of it. So I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless at this point. What's going on? And where the hell is everybody who's supposed to be working on this damn thing? Okay, we're back at that picture too. We saw that one. We saw that one. Okay, here's another thing going on here. Okay, that pipe right there is not new. Look at it. That is not a new pipe. How is that new? Look at the one here. That's not new. It looks like they're either fixing it, maybe putting it back together or something, or I don't know what. I would love to have seen them put in these metal girders right here. So we got a bunch of people down here, not really a bunch. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 guys down here for sure. Definitely 7. Maybe a few back here. I can't tell. Muffed up weird pipes over here. And then we got 7 down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 guys up top, and they look pretty clean. These guys down here don't even look that bad. What? Look at this pipe. I mean, come on. What else we got? Okay, here we go. Now we got some spectators back here watching and lollygagging around here. We got some guys here doing some stuff. Okay, so we got these 2 guys here, which they're talking to each other. They're not doing anything. This guy is shoveling something with his nice hat on. Got some guys down here, guys back here. I mean, who's in charge of this shit show? I don't know. I can't see what you guys are saying because I can't see. I don't have my phone on right now looking at it. There's another section to this thing here. Guys, look at this construction site. Are you kidding me? Look at it. Why does it look like this? And this is not new. Again, I want to stress, whatever this arch is right here going across here, this tunnel, whatever it is, it's not new. Clearly, what's this mess right here all piled up? Who's in charge of this mess? They need to clean that up. Look at this. Look at these walls. This wall coming in here and going here. This is not new. None of that's new. It should be brand new. No bueno. Not a whole lot of people working on any of this. It's crazy. What is going on? Oh, look at this. What we got here? What is going on here? Are you kidding me right now? What is with these huge blocks in this thing? What is happening right now? I don't even know. What is this thing? Look at these. I don't even know what to say. Look at this ladder. See this ladder right here going up here? Something wrong with it. It's so weird. I don't know, guys. That's nuts. Is this the interior welding thing, maybe? I don't know. I don't see anybody doing anything anyway to even figure out what's going on. They're really good at making these little shed shack things. What is this mechanism over here? What is this? What's that thing? I guess that's one of their pulley things or whatever. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, all right, now we're getting somewhere. All right, so now everything's underground again. Okay, this looks a little neater, and that tunnel doesn't look so bad. Looks a lot better, but it doesn't look great. Not a whole lot of people working on this thing at all. There's more people watching than working. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's see this. Okay, now they got the tunnel open. Okay. I don't know, this isn't looking so good right here now. Messy, messy construction sites. We looked at this one. So fascinating. Check this one out, guys. Look, here's the tunnels with brick on them. This is so crazy. We got a lot more people working on this one. I don't know. This brick doesn't look new to me. It looks like they took the dirt off of it. It was already there. See what I'm saying? They should look perfectly brand new. They're not looking like that. In my opinion. I don't know. Maybe you guys think something different. Okay, hold on. Let's see what's going on. Okay, we're good. All right, let's look at this one. Okay, there's the tunnels, guys. Okay, and look at this brick. Look at it. That's not new. It's not new. Sorry, not new. Is this the cleanup crew? Not a whole lot going on here. I think the last picture we were on the other side of this thing here, looking this towards us. They're all kind of standing around. I guess they're trying to decide what to do next, maybe. I don't know. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, the nice white shirt is the supervisor. This guy down here, Shawnee. Yeah. Okay, I can't keep up with whatever you guys are talking about. Clearly, you're talking amongst yourselves. Okay, this is supposed to be like what we were just looking at, the stuff they were putting in. Paris, I believe it was. Okay, here's another one. A very interesting picture here. Now, see, you got your little horse and carriage thing right here, bringing in stuff. What do we got on over here? It looks like there might be another pipe under here, like right in here. I can't be sure, but that kind of looks like a pipe to me. A lot of muffed up brick right there. These guys who should be working is just hanging out. It just looks like a shit show. It really does. I wouldn't want to work here. Look at this building. Wow. I guess pipes were going to go through these holes, maybe. I don't know. Go in here again. This looks like a brick wall right here. Right in here. Looks very bricky. Looks like. Okay, what do we got here? Wow. Just wow. Okay, this tunnel right here doesn't look new at all. Definitely not new. Looks like there's more of a building going this way. Like there's some kind of arch here. Right here. So this would be all underground. Because here's above ground. Oh, this is already here. I don't know. I just don't think these guys did any of this. I think they cleaned it up. Dug it up, cleaned it up, got it running again, maybe. Look at this pile of stuff over here. What's going on there? Are you kidding me? Look at this. Right here. Look at these big blocks of bricks over here. Right here. It looks like there's another pipe coming through the wall here. I don't know what that is, but I'm just saying that's what it looks like. Wow. Make it make sense, guys. The only thing that makes sense is they found a lot of this shit. I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody working on anything. Literally, I don't see anybody. I mean, there might be somebody there and I just can't make them out, but looks like there's another tunnel right here. Right here, I see an arch leading this way. There's, I don't know what all that stuff is. And another thing, they don't show them putting the street back together or anything. That's the sinkhole that started it all. I think that's it for those ones. Right? Yeah, okay, that's it for those ones. Some crazy stuff, right, guys? I know. All right, let me come off of this for a second. I'll see what you guys think of all that. I had to put my sweater on. It was getting cold. It's like 70, 75 during the day, and then it goes down into like the 50s at night. It gets a little chilly. Mannequins? Yeah, they could be mannequins. I mean, I don't know. Are you talking about the movie Mannequin? Yeah, I remember that movie. Yeah, you can tell that it's not new construction for sure. Thank you, HCAT. I appreciate that. What else do I have to show you now? Okay, so now we're going to look at, where do we want to go from here? There's a whole Naples underground cistern. We have covered that before, Shapu and I. So I don't think I'm really going to go there. Let me see here. What else do I want to look at? I can't play this one because they're being assholes about it. Okay, let me see what else I got for you guys. I know I got something else here. I'm going to take a break, though. I wonder if I could show this one. I don't know. I don't want to get in any trouble, but this is a good one. Maybe I'll have a picture in here of the reservoir that I'm looking for. The one for New York. All right, hold on a second. I think I got it. I want you to see what this reservoir looked like. It's no joke. There it is. All right, let me get back into a screen share. I don't think I can play the video. I don't want to chance it, so I'll just show you what it looked like. Here it is. Look at this thing. It's massive. This guy built the whole thing. Him and his ladder. And a shovel. That's all you need. Schematic plans for it. Where they're going to pump water to and stuff. This is the side wall of it right here on the right-hand side wall of it right here. I think that's it. Oh, you know what they did? They tore it down and they put the New York Library there. They show a picture of them constructing the library. It's hysterical. This is supposed to be one of the original walls here to the reservoir. Let's see if I can find that construction photo. Where is that construction photo? Oh, it's ridiculous. Where'd it go? Shit. It's gotta be back here somewhere. Guess not. It's got to be like right here somewhere. There was this one little construction photo they supplied for this video. One guy, bunch of blocks. That's about it. And I can't find the picture. I don't know why it's not here. That's muffed up. Library. It's got to be right around here because I remember it was right here. Oh, here it is. This is them constructing the New York City Library. Okay, this is where the reservoir was. They tore that all down. Don't have any pictures for that. I'd love to have seen that happen. And then you got this. Okay, let's take a look and see what we see. Got this crazy muffed up. I can't even zoom in on it. All right. From what I can gather, there's 2 guys and they're right here. Other than that, there may be one more here, possibly one somewhere on this thing up here. That's it. Nothing else. And of course, the ladder leaning right up here because you have to have that. Yeah, there it is. That's their construction photo for this. And all you get is 1 because you can't have any more than that. One little picture. That's it. And if you blink, you'll miss it. I don't know what's going on in this little section here. I think this is when they were building the reservoir, maybe. And then they go into the library stuff. Yeah, those guys built this, sure. Okay. That's it. That's all they give you. Plenty of pictures and drawings and depictions, but you get 1 construction photo. 1. And it's lunchtime. They have Photoshop. They could have Photoshopped some of these things in here. I don't know. All I know is their job sites need some help. All right, let's go over here. See what's going on. Gotta take a little break. We're at 2 hours and 28 minutes. I'll probably stay on for another half an hour. But I'm going to put a song on, take a quick break. Take some more allergy medicine. Let me see what we got here. I know what I'm going to play for you. I'm going to play that new video I put up. Where is it? Oh, I got to get to the other side. That's where I got to go. And this one. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure this out. Not sure. Things aren't working for me on my end. Don't know why. Huh. That's so weird. Switching over on that one. I go to this one and it's not working. Wonder why. So weird. Okay, that's baffling to me. I don't know why that's doing that. All right, guys, we will be back in just a minute. Well, 4 minutes. Meltology is the study and exploration of melted structures that were damaged during an extreme heat event that apparently took place in our not-so-distant past. We're talking temperatures well above 6,000 degrees. The evidence is all around us. You just can't miss the melt. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you see the melted bricks, you won't fall for their lame-ass tricks. Geologist, you're fired. The word mountain has no standardized geological meaning, so there's that. Meltology 101. Boom, baby. Tardy glue buffet right here. A successful woman is a woman who can lay a firm foundation with the bricks that others have thrown at her. I don't have haters, I have fans in denial, baby. This is a jackwagon free zone. How many people were in the car when JFK was assassinated? Boom, baby. What's up, guys? I'm back here. Getting another video ready. Talking about these ancient tunnels that run under continents. I love these titles. Huge mine predating Indians in Nevada. No, it's just more of the inners of the motherboard and the cooling system that they had. Okay, what is this ancient structure here? Oh yeah, that's that thing in Russia. Okay, we looked at that already. All right, let's see here. Where do we want to start with this video? So I get into a screen share. Okay, this is about 20 minutes long, and I think when this is over, I'll probably get ready to get out of here. And I know I can play this on my channel because I have never had issues with them, so we'll see what happens. Okay. Oh, I was screen sharing. Let me make sure the everything's right with it. All right, we should be good to go now. Make sure everything looks good on my end. Get this comment off the screen. Comment, no? Okay, no comment. Good, we're good. All right, guys, let's check this out. I don't think there's any commercials.
The immense age of many of the locations we so often cover here upon our channel. We are also, in turn, often confronted with an array of defense strategies, effective distraction techniques, which continue to allow that which cannot be explained to be simply and quietly brushed under the proverbial rug of modern understandings. Many institutes are funded too and work in cahoots toward a common goal, the preservation of a status quo, which not only stifles logical historical pursuits, but are controlled by institutions who bury anything which could jeopardize their current monopoly over the many areas of human life and interaction. When it comes to concealing the true age of many of the planet's oldest ruins, it often falls to the geology departments to simply declare the most weathered of relics.
Hi, I'm Spencer, Film Supply's creative director. I'm excited to share with you our latest product update for Film Supply that we've been working on for a while. Film Supply's AI-powered search. In this video, I'll cover what AI-powered search is, how you can use it today, and some advanced tips to help you find your footage faster than ever. Film Supply's AI-powered search is brand new, and it's a complete rebuild of our search engine. Basically, it allows you to search the way you think and write naturally. And just to be clear, this is not AI prompts for video content. Let's dive in and try it out for ourselves. Let's start with something simple like boxing. That's pretty good, but maybe I want something a little moodier. Let's go with boxing with moody lighting. And there we go. But let's get even more specific. How about father training his son in a boxing gym with dramatic lighting. With this new search, we can get even more conceptual as well. Let's go with a person's face showing grit and determination.
Fucking ads, man.
As merely that of geological formations. And if there is any ancient settlement on Earth which would have fit this bill, it's Cappadocia. An entire ancient settlement, so old that all of its surface structures have nearly eroded back to nature. However, although these remarkably old...
Clearly they didn't erode, guys. We know it's melted. I'm just saying. I don't agree with that narrative.
and incredibly heavily eroded surviving spires would have almost certainly been overlooked, dismissed as geological. Cappadocia, fortunately, has a labyrinth beneath its streets, an entire underground city, once somehow masterfully hewn from the bedrocks of Earth, rumored to have been lit by small candles, fed by natural gas pockets found deep underground. It is, regardless, an incredible legacy of a past, highly capable civilization. And although we have extensively covered the ancient underground city of Derinkuyu, along with its as yet unexplained multi-ton rolling doors, not only how they were
It's like a giant millstone, don't it? Just saying, it sure does.
made and then placed in passages, but indeed how they were rolled when in use, as they are of such tremendous weights. However, what many people are unaware of, quite possibly due to the difficulty modern academia has in explaining their existence, is that the
Welcome, Freya. It's nice to see you here. You are very late, but that's okay. My first live stream attempt got taken down. Don't know what happened, but I'm glad you're here now.
there lies many more underground layers and labyrinths all across Cappadocia, thankfully meaning that the sole surviving spires on the surface have not withstood the sands of time in vain, for they now stand as signposts to this incredible, baffling, and simply enormous ancient mega metropolis, all carved from the solid rock beneath Cappadocia. As mentioned, many of you will now be aware of Derinkuyu, an underground city whose legend
Let's just pause it right there. If you look down here, right where I'm circling, you can see brick. Okay, you can see it. Just saying, look at it.
tells of it having once been a sanctuary for ancient people who endured an ice age, possibly making the site far older than 10,000 years. However, what many of you may have not been aware of is the other remarkable underground city of Kaimakli, which secretly stretches across below the grounds of this ancient ruin. Many of the passageways carved untold millennia ago are still used to this day as storage areas, stables, and cellars. The underground city at Kaimakli differs from Derinkuyu in terms of its structure and layout. The tunnels are lower, narrower, and more steeply inclined.
Pay attention to the floor, okay? It's bubbling and boiling. It looks like it was all bubbled up from heat. And these are not pickaxe marks, okay? They're heat striations.
Cappadocia appears in some areas as one of the most heavily eroded sites on Earth, yet it is fortunately still attributed to its true original identity, that of an ancient ruin. And
Yeah, look at the floor there. See how it's, oh, sorry, my thing's got it. See how it's all bubbly and wavy here and stuff? Yeah, they didn't carve that. They didn't carve any of this.
thanks to the miles of still unexplored caverns below this incredibly ancient site, its dismissal as geological in the future seems very unlikely. It is a place which we find highly compelling.
Highly compelling.
There have recently been some astonishing academically contradictory discoveries unearthed throughout Europe. Archaeologists have been discovering a network of underground tunnels, apparently somehow cut throughout the Stone Age, which cover the territories of Spain, Turkey, and most of the European continent. Their approximate age, according to funded archaeologists, is no less than 12,000 years. Yet how people living within the Stone Age, people without any form of metal tools or chisels, managed to cut thousands of miles of tunnel systems is clearly a considerably contradictory mystery. Thousands of underground tunnels stretching from Scotland to Turkey that have, predictably, placed the many submissive, order-taking funded scientists throughout the academic world at a dead end to explain. However, if one presumes, as the evidence we share here on our channel often suggests, that a past, now lost, highly advanced civilization once flourished here on our Earth. Their creation is less of a challenge to explain. Yet the purpose for their existence will remain an enigma. Were they created by a group attempting to hide from something? Or possibly, they were ancient smuggling tunnels left by members of this lost civilization, once used to smuggle items from ancient settlement to settlement found throughout Europe. German archaeologist Dr. Heinrich Kusch, in his book Secrets of the Underground Doors to the Ancient World, states that the tunnels were dug beneath hundreds of Neolithic settlements all across Europe. And the fact that so many tunnels have survived indicates that the original network was much larger than that which still survives. Quote, "In Bavaria alone, we discovered 700 meters of these underground tunnels. In the Austrian Styria, we found 350, and throughout Europe, there were thousands of such tunnels, from north of Scotland stretching to the Mediterranean itself." End quote.
That's just what they found.
The fact that these tunnels have been identified as having been cut at least 12,000 years ago should indicate to all those.
And anytime they show you these ancient Stone Age tools or whatever, I don't know if they're supposed to be ones they really found or they're mock-ups of them, but they don't look like they have any damage on them. They don't look like they've ever been used. I'm just saying.
Still with a capacity of critical thought, that they are undoubtedly far older than this, as to state that they were somehow cut by people with literally no tools to their disposal, to us seems laughable. The tunnels are all relatively narrow, being about 70 centimeters in width, just enough for an adult man to travel through. In some places, there are small rooms, storage chambers, and seats, clearly indicating that these cave systems were used by a number of people at a time. How did our ancient ancestors create such an awe-inspiring network of tunnels without the utilization of some form of tunneling equipment, lighting, and indeed smelted metal tools? It is not surprising to us, or anyone who has paid attention to the limited tale of events put forward by academia, that these tunnels remain a perplexing ancient artifact for them to explain. Yet we feel.
What's this? What? Hold on. I thought they were carving it. What's this right here? Somebody putting brick in? As a carving, and then they're bricking, and then they're carving some more. Make it make sense. This brick right here. This is a layer. That's an under layer.
They are clear evidence of a past civilization, having crudely cut these tunnels, possibly for some nefarious reason we are yet to unravel. They are undoubtedly highly compelling.
Highly compelling.
Let Kroger help check grocery.
Quiet. I think that's it for that one. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Let's let this play through. I remember the days when there was no commercials on YouTube. Those were the days. I think it's over at this point. What is this? Underground cities from the Ice Age, Darren Kuyu. What? I think that's it for this one. Oh, no, it's more. Here we go.
And indeed, across much of ancient Egypt as a whole, many areas which are clear evidence of a highly capable, highly intelligent past civilization who once called this landmass home. Not only are the ancient pyramids a clear feat of incredible ancient engineering, possibly the most astonishing found the world over, but many of the still existing ancient temples are testament to a now lost, yet once incredibly advanced ancient civilization. And although many academics are funded to push the theory that the pyramids, having once been the burial places of Egyptian kings, the truth that we still do not actually know the original purpose for these ancient structures remains. Not only do these structures, along with many other areas, such as the basalt floor found at their feet, still show clear evidence.
Check that out, guys. That's a melted floor right there around the pyramids. I've talked about it before. It's rare that you see pictures of it. There it is.
Of lost technology, unquestionably left by high-speed, high-rotation stone-cutting technologies, and many of the tombs and other artifacts found throughout the ancient ruins, unarguably once machine-worked upon enormous, as yet unexplained lathes. But there also exist some astonishing features within the record books, documented anomalies within our own antiquity, regarding some of the biggest yet still existing anomalies within ancient Egypt. Anomalies that, although are now all but lost to history, have been recorded and documented since our own records began, specifically Roman records. The Colossi or Colossus of Memnon are listed as containing some of the largest megalithic blocks that have currently been recorded and investigated across the world. And although these statues have virtually crumbled over the eons, records of these statues stretches back many centuries, features now largely, and we believe, deliberately ignored by mainstream academics. These statues once possessed an astonishing characteristic, one many claimed as a divine experience, one which would draw countless individuals on a pilgrimage across the desert to witness at first fully cut stone temples, and Masada is of no exception. The first official funded excavations in the area took place from 1963 to 1965 and was under former IDF Chief of Staff and archaeologist Yigal Yadin. The dry desert climate allowed the preservation of classy frescoes and organic remains belonging to the rebels who once called the sanctuary temples home. However, it has long been claimed that the archaeological team were not given full access to the site and have repeatedly noted that they are aware of the site's secret underground layers, yet were not able to fully explore it during the 60s. However, recent changes to attitude.
And they all have secret underground layers because it's the motherboard. And this is all brick right here, by the way, all of it. It's all muffed up.
Toward historic sites has secured funding for a full exploration of these as yet unexplored underground tunnels. For the first time since 2006, a Tel Aviv University team, headed by Roman period archaeologist Guy Stiebel, have launched new excavations at the UNESCO World Heritage Site, examining previously unexplored areas of the legendary fortress. Quote, "This is the next generation," Stiebel told The Times, adding that his team planned to excavate new sections of the dwellings, as well as a garden constructed by Herod. He further noted, quote, "Our intention is to further explore a mysterious underground structure that was detected in the earliest aerial photographs of the site in the 1920s. Yet, alas, the building's underground layers have remained unexplored." Dr. Stiebel, intriguingly, although seemingly aware of the void's existence, was reluctant to label its past uses, stated that it was possibly used as a hideout or escape route during the siege of Masada, although he made it clear that he is unsure at the moment of the original purpose of the underground systems. Dr. Stiebel exclaimed his excitement to return to the site after an 11-year absence in statements to the media, quote, "A lifetime would not suffice to get a glimpse of all the hidden beauties of Masada. Its magic is not just in the equipment, it is also in small things," end quote. Even though several experts believe that more than 95% of Masada's total size has already been explored, Stiebel believes that its core is yet to be discovered. We will, of course, keep you posted on any controversial or intriguing.
There's even saying that this has underground stuff, layers to it as well. Gets back into Darren Kuyu here. The reason I'm showing you all this is to show and reaffirm that there was tunnels and passageways everywhere connecting everything underground, just like in a motherboard. Let's see what else they're talking about here. I think that's the Serapeum they're talking about at the end of this thing. Fucking ads.
As proof that whoever built these underground layers, at minimum, possessed astonishing acoustic knowledge, far ahead of man, as well as almost physics.
Never mind how melted everything looks. Whatever this is on the floor here, it's all melted and muffed up. It looks kind of like a gear of some sort, maybe a gear. It's all muffed up though. Melted, the floor's melted, everything's melted.
Defying stone moving techniques displayed in the structure itself. The hypogeum possesses a characteristic designed into its construction, which is simply astonishing. It is so mystifying that although very little is known regarding how it was achieved, a certain frequency can amplify, which seems to stimulate the building's amplifying capabilities, as if the
This pillar right here, you could see the heat striations running through it. This is not pickaxe marks. They're not even concentric in any kind of way. They're wavy heat patterns going through it. Right there.
entire structure resonates, and has since been shown to also affect the human brain, becoming known as
Your
the God
bullshit's
frequency.
affecting my human brain.
Who built these underground labyrinths? Why? When did they build them? We find these incredible relics.
Underground labyrinths everywhere. All kinds of crazy stuff going on. Pipes. Pipes sticking out everywhere. Let's see what else we got. I think that's it for now. All right, let's check this out. See what's going on.
Of humanity's development, advanced technology is strictly limited to more recent societies. The process of irrigation, for example, was not invented until about 6000 BC. Materials such as iron were supposedly not used until 1500 BC. Despite our beliefs that ancient people had been technologically lacking, there are, in fact, many technological feats that people in the distant past seem to have been capable of, based on recent finds. I have done thorough
See that, guys? Okay, so this is like that oop art stuff, out of place artifacts. And here they're showing you like what looks like a spark plug coil of some sort here that they found embedded in, some kind of melted brick way down in the ground.
Based on recent finds.
That right there. Look at that. That's just like what you see on top of a motherboard too, those ports.
I have done thorough research on each of these discoveries, and there are some details that I have uncovered which have not been mentioned in the YouTube videos on other channels. Some of these artifacts you might be familiar with. However, the purpose of this video is not just to show you that they exist. Instead, I will be showing connections and similarities between these ancient objects, and explaining why it seems possible that people had advanced technology thousands of years ago. In the Sharplanina mountain range in Kosovo, an ancient device resembling a transformer was discovered. This device was dated by analysts to be at least 20,000 years old, refuting any notion that the object could have been made recently. The wires of the transformer are made of a non-corrosive copper. The way in which the copper wires wrap around the stone is similar to a toroidal inductor, which is a component used in electronic circuits. The type of rock that this transformer is carved from is limestone. The creators of this device may have inserted the transformer into a limestone insulator to hold it and isolate the electrical current.
No way.
There are holes carved into the front of the insulator, which may have been used for holding it on something like a pedestal. The limestone insulator and the transformer itself appear to have been crushed from pressure of some type, causing the insulator
It must
to
have been
crack
crushed from the
and the wires
pressure
to be bent
of the heat melting the building, crushing down on everything. That's what happened. Just saying.
and frayed. The top portion of the transformer was cracked also, and the insulator was pushed into the transformer. The device seems to be held together by copper wires, which run through the entire insulator, since you can observe wires protruding from the rock in some spots. These wires would have held the limestone together after it was crushed, much like how rebar can hold together damaged concrete. The backside of the insulator has 4 symmetrical plug holes, which would have served as the openings that wires could be plugged into. The rims around each of these holes are also made of a non-corrosive copper. Modern copper is known to corrode quickly when it is not bound to other materials, such as zinc or tin. The material used to make this device is nearly pure copper, yet it has not corroded. As discussed in my last video, ancient people were somehow capable of altering metals, such as iron, to prevent them from corroding without combining them with other types of metals. Since this object is supposedly 20,000 years old and has not corroded, it indicates that the copper in this object was also altered in some way to prevent corrosion. Since ancient people had apparently been capable of creating complex transformers, then it is safe to assume that they must have had other types of technology that required electrical energy. In support of this, there have been numerous other discoveries of advanced ancient technology around the world. Components of ancient machinery were discovered near the Ural Mountains in Russia, When geologists were attempting to extract gold from rocks, thousands of small metal coils, shafts, and springs, ranging in both size and composition, were uncovered from depths ranging between 10 and 40 feet deep. The smallest of these coils were 1/10,000th of an inch. Some of these nanocoils were made of a non-corrosive copper, similar to the material used in the Kosovo transformer, while others were made of tungsten and molybdenum, according to the Russian Academy of Science. These metal components were dated to be an average age of 300,000 years old, while the rocks that the springs were found amongst were dated to be only 100,000 years old. A 1996 study of the nanocoils ruled out the possibility of the objects having been from test rockets that flew near the area, since the coils were found too deep below the ground level, the deepest ones being found 40 feet underground.
Wow.
If these components were not used in rocketry, then what were they used for? Nanosprings are used today in nanomachines, sensors, inductors, and photonic metamaterials.
Oh, baby!
Modern
That's all
nanosprings
computer
are typically
motherboard
made of
stuff. Just
carbide,
saying.
silicon carbide, or silicon dioxide, none of which the nanostructures found near the Ural Mountains are composed of. Modern technology could not produce the smallest of these nanocoils, since they are currently made using the VLS method, in which the materials are vaporized and slowly recondensed into the shape of a coil. In simple terms, molybdenum and copper are not capable of being vaporized and reformed in this manner, the way that carbide and the silicon compounds used currently are. Tungsten would need to be combined with disulfide for this process to be carried out, but disulfide is not present in the nanostructures found in the Ural region. The depth at which these nanostructures were found also demonstrates that they are in fact ancient, explaining why they were made of such unusual materials. If even modern technology cannot create the smallest of these nanostructures, then how were they made? An artifact resembling an outlet plug was found encased in a rock in Texas. There are 3 metal prongs extending from the rock. The plug also has an insulator base, which is a requirement for outlet plugs to function. The rock that this plug was encased in was dated to be at least 100,000 years old, and is composed of granite, quartz, and feldspar. There is no evidence of the plug having been glued or welded into the stone, which it would need to be in order for it to stay in place if it had been planted into the rock recently. The plug is very similar to a 3-pronged Type M outlet plug, used only in countries far from the United States, including South Africa, Singapore, and India. Since the object is encased in rock, it is generally assumed that the plug must be far older than a modern one. It would be essentially impossible for a modern plug of this type or any other to have become embedded in a granite stone in the United States. A disc-like object made of schist was discovered in the tomb of Sabu at the burial grounds of Saqqara in Egypt in 1936. This object is about 24 inches in diameter and is dated to be over 5,000 years old. Given that Egyptians were believed to have only used stone and copper tools, it would have been difficult to carve a stone as fragile as schist so precisely. At the center of the disc, there is a thin tube about 10 centimeters in diameter.
Clearly, this is some type of technical contraption here or something.
This indicates that a rod of some sort was intended to be placed into the opening to either hold or propel the disc. Demonstrations of the potential uses of the schist disc can be found. None of these methods seem to be particularly efficient or useful. However, a simple alteration in how this disc is used allows it to function in a much more efficient manner. If the disc is moved up and down, rather than rotating it, more water is displaced. The way in which the disc is curved upwards allows water to easily flow through it when the disc is pushed downward. When the disc is pulled upwards, it would push the water, because the shape of the disc would scoop the water up like a bowl. An up and down motion of this type would enable water to be propelled through a pipe. This method could also be used for another type of liquid similar in viscosity to water. Mercury has been discovered in Egyptian tombs and in ancient structures around.
Yeah, guys, let's go back a tiny bit.
Mercury has
Look at this wall back here. You can tell it was all brick. You can see it still. Just saying, even down here.
been discovered in
These sarcophagi are damaged for sure, heat damaged.
Egyptian tombs and in ancient structures around the world, including the chambers under Teotihuacan in Mexico and in ancient Chinese tombs. In modern times,
I need to go back and look at that diagram of that pyramid there. I've never seen that kind of cutaway. Look at that. Wow. It's pretty crazy.
Teotihuacan in Mexico, and in ancient Chinese tombs. In modern times, mercury is used in a variety of electronic devices. Historians claim that ancient societies used mercury because it represented water and was believed to ward off evil spirits. Perhaps ancient people had a more practical reason for using mercury aside from just for symbology. An object was photographed by a U.S. Navy oceanographic research ship named the USNS Eltonin in 1964. The object that the crew discovered appears to be an antenna of some sort. Despite the claims that the object is merely a sea sponge called the Chondrocladia concrescens, the structure was located over 12,800 feet below sea level. A sponge that is only around a foot tall on average would not have been distinguishable at such a depth. This species of sea sponge is known to reproduce at a rapid rate. Therefore, the USNS Eltonin would have photographed more than a single one. Whatever this strange object really is, it is also worth noting that the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration recorded a strange sound near the location of the Eltonin antenna in 1997. This sound has been dubbed the bloop, and despite its dismissal as an iceberg breaking away from a glacier, the sound patterns do not add up to this explanation. Listen to the sound of an actual iceberg that was recorded. Now, listen to the sound that the NOAA research ship recorded at the location of the Eltonin antenna. Keep in mind, the sound had to be sped up 16 times for it to even be audible.
Sounds very technical, whatever it is.
Clearly, something other than an iceberg made this sound. It sounds more as if it were an ultra-low frequency transmission sound, produced from a VLF radio wave.
Huh. VLF is very low frequency transmission.
These sounds travel in a zigzag pattern, explaining the intermittent nature of the sounds. Due to the very low frequency of the signals, however, these transmitters need to be very large. The scientists working on the USNS Eltonin estimated the submerged antenna they photographed to be approximately 2,000 feet tall, which is about the same height as some of the tallest radio towers in the world. This would certainly be large enough to broadcast VLF transmissions if the structure was a radio tower. Because the Eltonin antenna is submerged and likely damaged, the transmissions would probably be weakened, explaining why the NOAA researchers had only recorded these sounds when they were near the Eltonin antenna. The wedge of Ayud is another example of an ancient machine component. This object was discovered near the city of Ayud in Romania, buried over 30 feet deep, and found alongside mastodon bones underground, making it an estimated age of 10,000 years old. As mentioned in my previous video, the wedge of Ayud is remarkable due to its composition of 90% aluminum. Aluminum cannot be extracted from ores without the usage of smelting and complex machinery. This object appears to be an attachment for a larger piece of equipment, possibly a standard excavator or a bucket wheel excavator. It could not have come from a modern excavator, however, since aluminum alloys are not used to make excavator attachments. Alloy steel is the material that modern attachments are made from. For those who adhere to only conventional explanations, there are no answers as to who had made this object, how it was constructed, or why it was buried over 30 feet deep. Another example of a component of an advanced ancient device, dated to be thousands of years old, is the clear quartz crystal lens, which was discovered in Nineveh, Iraq. It is believed that refraction had only been studied beginning around 1,000 years ago, yet this lens is convexly curved to create a magnification effect. The flat edge around the perimeter of the glass seems to have been carved so that it could be held within a frame, either to be worn over the eye or to be placed into a telescope, perhaps. It is believed that the telescope was only invented in 1608, but if ancient people had created lenses, then it would not have been difficult for them to have made telescopes. Carvings on the Oisaliswara temple in India even depict people using a seeing device, perhaps similar to a telescope, lending to the possibility that humans had created telescopes long before Hans Lippershey had created his version in the early 1600s AD. Some researchers theorize that the lens was used as an inlay for furniture. However, it does not seem reasonable that a rare and hard-to-see crystal would be used as an inlay, rather than something more eye-catching. Inlays were not used frequently enough in ancient Mesopotamian furniture for archaeologists to assume that this lens was used as an inlay. The clarity, shape, and magnification power of the object are demonstrations of its functionality as a lens, rather than a decorational piece. There are also nanopockets carved into the lens that had once been filled with a liquid hydrocarbon mixture. Modern telescope lenses are also filled with chemical compounds to improve their magnification. Likewise, the pockets and compounds used on the ancient lens found in Nineveh would have increased its magnification capability, further proving that the lens had not been created for purely decorative purposes, and that the creator of the lens possessed remarkable engineering skill, which people were believed to have not understood until more recently. An unnatural piece of nearly pure aluminum was found embedded in a piece of coal in Vladivostok, Russia. X-ray diffraction was used on the object, and it was determined that it was composed of 96 to 98% aluminum and 2 to 4% magnesium. This concentration is even more pure than the wedge of iode, and this object should have been even older since it was encased in coal. This object appears to be a broken piece of a linear gear rack, which is a component often used in advanced machinery and in devices such as microscopes and telescopes to adjust them. In 1961, prospectors were searching Mount Olancha in California for geodes to cut open. One of the rocks they collected was discovered to contain an odd object when they cut it open. The item consisted of a ceramic base with a non-corrosive copper shaft running through the center of it. There had been a hexagonal casing made of wood that was pulverized when the artifact was sawn in half. Samples were taken of the pulverized wood casing, and it was determined that the wood had become fossilized, revealing that the object was ancient. The traces of the wooden casing were discarded after the tests were done, however, so the validity of the test cannot be proven or disproven. In between the once present wooden casing and the ceramic base, there is a non-corrosive copper conductor made of the same material as the shaft. Skeptics of the Koso artifact's ancient age promote the theory that the object is nothing more than a 1920s-era Champion brand spark plug. The X-rays taken of the artifact seem to show something other than a spark plug, though. As for how the supposed spark plug had become encased in stone, skeptics believe that as the metal casing of the object corroded, the spark plug became encased in an iron oxide concretion derived from the rusting spark plug. A key issue with this reasoning is that the Koso artifact is not made of iron or any corrosive metal. Rather, the casing had been made of wood, which was fossilized. The Koso artifact would be encased in an iron oxide concretion if it was encased by this type of corrosion. Instead, this object is encased in hardened clay. The hexagonal shaft would not have been made of wood if it were a 1920 spark plug either. To this day, the hardened clay has not been removed from around the object to prove that it is a spark plug. Leaving the Koso artifact encased indicates that there is something about the artifact's identity that is being hidden. There are also depictions of advanced technological objects etched into the stones of ancient temples around the world. One well-known example is of the Dendera lights in the Hathor temple at Dendera in Egypt. These objects depicted share the design of a light bulb, such as a Crookes tube. It would make sense that if there were somehow light bulbs in the ancient past, they would have had a more basic design, like some of the first ones that were invented in more recent societies. The temples do not have any evidence of lamp-black soot from.
Okay, let's just take a look at these blocks because I'm seeing brick lines in these blocks. Look at it. Look right there. Look. Are you kidding me right now? What's going on here? Wow. I mean, you can see it.
From torches. And there is no indication that the Egyptians embedded any substances within the torches to prevent them from producing this type of soot. The type of soot that was discovered inside of Egyptian temples was dated to be much more recent than these carvings, estimated to have been from the time of the Roman reign in Egypt, ranging from 30 BC to 641 AD. These same light bulbs could have been used in the temples in India, Mexico, and other locations. No soot from torches or torch remnants have been found in these temples, yet they go into very deep, dark locations. No evidence of soot has been found in the Malta or Turkey underground complexes, nor in the carved caves of China, nor in the ancient temples in Indonesia, or in the pyramids in Egypt. The Ankh is another symbol often depicted in ancient Egyptian stone carvings. This shape is nearly identical to another type of light-emitting device that Nikola Tesla had created, called the electric oscillator. The Jed pillar, claimed to represent the backbone of Osiris, is much more similar to an insulator used on power systems. Even more evidence for ancient electrical technology in Egypt is present in the form of the depictions of airplanes and other vehicles in hieroglyphs. In the Temple of Seti I, there are carvings of what appear to be a helicopter, a yacht, a jet plane similar to an ME-163 Comet, and something similar to a Star Destroyer spaceship. It is believed that these carvings were initially different looking, and that under the rule of a later pharaoh, the Egyptians had carved different shapes over the originals. If their intention was to write something different on the walls, they would have leveled the surface so that their markings could be legible. There is no distinction in style or depth between the carvings supposedly made by different people to mean different things. It was clearly intentional to make these carvings look the way they do, regardless of who had engraved them and when. The question then is, why did they carve these shapes? Hieroglyphs always depict things which clearly resemble what they are meant to represent. Why do these carvings not represent any antiquated objects, plants, or animals, instead depicting what are apparently vehicles? And these carvings were not made at a later date, since they are identical in depth and style to the surrounding hieroglyphs on this wall, in this temple and in other temples in Egypt. Relatively nearby, in the present-day country of Turkey, a stone carving of what has been recognized as a flying vehicle or even a rocket, with a person sitting inside, was discovered. Furthermore, figurines known as the Kimbaya artifacts were uncovered in the country of Colombia in South America, which depict most components of a functional aircraft. Although it is claimed that these objects are meant to represent stylized fish, birds, and other creatures, the figures are not anatomically representative of these organisms, since they contain what would be extra appendages. These carvings were made at the same time that these temples were made, and that they are not later additions. Devices which seem to resemble cell phones and tablets are also present in ancient Indian temple stone carvings. Did ancient people really have devices that were similar to the technology of modern times? The advanced ancient objects that people have discovered happen to be buried underground or encased in rock. Anything that may have been present in these temples around the world.
Anyway, that was cool. I like that. I'll drop the link for that if you guys want to check it out on your own. Maybe look into some of those objects, art, out of place artifacts. It all makes sense now. All that stuff makes sense now. Now that we know. All right, guys, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. It's 3 hours and 16 minutes, and I'm getting tired. I have 36 people here still. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out and coming back over to this side. I don't know what happened to the last live stream. Like I said, I did not get a strike, so I don't know what that was all about. I didn't even get a copyright warning or anything. So I'm going to my channel now to see if there's anything there. Let's go to manage. See what it says. Okay, I'm going to screen share this because there's nothing here. There's no reason why I should have been taken down. Literally, there's no reason, okay? I'm going to prove to you guys this YouTube fuckery that I deal with constantly, okay? Here it is. All right, over here. Here we go. This is our current live stream right here at the top. Public, no problems. Here's the live stream that I just got kicked off of. Got 56 minutes in, I guess, and they kicked me off. Look, public. Everyone can see it. No problem. Nothing. No restrictions. See, here's restrictions. No restrictions. None. As you can see, I've had other ones partially blocked in other countries and stuff, but it has no effect on my channel. When you look at the details, it'll say, not affected. Your channel's not affected. It's partially blocked in some other countries. That's their problem, not mine. As long as it doesn't affect my channel, I don't care. So I already know there's no reason why I should have got kicked off this stream at all, period, at all. Make it make sense. Somebody, please make it make sense, because it happens to me all the time. All right, guys. Well, I hope you had fun. Glad y'all hung out with me, and hope you learned something new tonight. Thank you, Curtis and Shawnee B, for your awesome footage going along the Merrimack River and to Lowell and Manchester, all those different places you go. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate that. I mean, they're talking about technology that we're using today, and especially stuff that we're using in motherboard technology and stuff. So thanks, Curtis. I appreciate you. I'm starting to get a little tired. All right. So anyway, like I always say, let it not be said that we stood by and did nothing. And the only thing that evil needs to prevail is for good men and women to stand by and do nothing. So one way or another, we're here to get the truth out. That's why we're all here at the end of the day. It's the only reason why I'm on here doing any of this is to get the truth out. I mean, I could never learn all this stuff and keep it to myself. And I'll tell anybody who wants to listen. So, and I always have facts to back up my claims, and you know, just gotta have an open mind. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Good night. Yeah, I'm getting tired. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go out with a song, and I will see you probably in the next few days or so. Hopefully, Shapu is back with me here. I can't seem to get to the other side of his stuff here on my StreamYard. That's unusual because I have a song over there that I wanted to play on his side of things, and that's not here or working either. I don't know if he did something or took it out, or it's just StreamYard acting weird. I don't know.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Yeah. All right, so let me get my song ready here so we can get out of here. All right, guys, class is dismissed. I love you. Talk to you soon.